and was only suitable for people aged 18 or over, will almost certainly have an adult theme, and might well contain sex or violence, which are quite graphic. It may also contain explicit language, including sexual swear words. Thanks for listening.
But here's what his revelation comes to him. He's kind of got all this stuff, like touching, wiping, mourning of the animals.
Not wiping, whipping.
Yeah. Also not touching.
I am dyslexic. I hope I'm not having like a stroke.
Do it live! Fuck it! Do it live!
And an atheist almost always becomes supporters of eugenics and abortion.
A swine is hungry for nuts. Jesus hates them too.
Satan is real.
Being a Satanist is an open declaration of revolt against counterproductive received wisdom and mindless rogue traditions.
Decapitate her head off.
We're done. You're done.
Obama!
I'm looking down the hole, you're looking up at me. You're cold and tired, that is easy to see. Lower the rope to you, a bucket on the line. Your membrane will be soft and smooth and your heart will be mine. It rubs the lotion on its skin, or as it gets the hose again.
It's a happy little jam, man.
It is.
I dig it.
I almost want to sing along with it, but I know we're being recorded.
It's a good Halloween song.
The lip sync is good.
Yeah.
I like the way they time it.
Yeah, with the video, that's good. Well, welcome to the Godless Rebelution, everybody. Today is Monday, October 31st. It's Halloween.
It's the actual Halloween day.
Yes, we released the Halloween episode earlier today, but we're actually recording today on Halloween as well. We have a bowl of candy set out in front of the front door, and with a sign that just says, "Don't be greedy." Hopefully that'll work.
It won't.
It hasn't in the past.
Well, it's Utah. I mean,
yeah.
Conservative ideals. I mean, greed is good, isn't it?
Yeah, they need to bleed the beast.
Oh, that's right. I forget. I always forget that.
And it'll just trickle down.
Right.
It'll just trickle down. A couple of kids will take all the candy and they'll share it with all the other kids.
Yeah.
You would hope so, but
that's the way it works.
It doesn't ever seem to really work out that way. I mean,
keep hoping. Not
that I've noticed any who.
It's a faith-based political system.
So you have faith that the kids will hand out candy.
I mean, the whole trickle down thing is based on faith. Isn't it?
And
well, then you could just say that anything you believe is based on faith.
Well, that's just trumped up.
It's trumped up trickle down economics.
I mean, there are certain economic systems that are based in facts. They're based in rationality and past experience and things like that.
Sure.
So we just jumped right into economics and politics.
Well, this is
finish the introduction.
You know what's kind of freaky about today? This is episode 130. Fun with numbers. Divide that by 10. It's the number 13 on Halloween. Arbitrary nonsense ties that you can make to different things.
We are fucked.
Yeah. It's going to be good, though. Lucky number 13.
And there's some other number you could divide it by where it will equal 6.6.
And I will not be demoted on the fucking on the Two Skeptical Chaps show just because I said lucky number 13. God damn it!
Because we're just having fun.
I don't really believe that in whatever.
You're demoted.
Are they unhappy with the 13 thing?
Oh no! So the Two Skeptical Chaps, they offer this. You become an agent. You become agent number whatever, and then you get a rank as well.
Oh, okay.
And Tamel had been sending them stories and had earned a rank of something.
Like, he was like number 12 or something.
Yeah, and had gotten his rank. So they gave him a number, agent number whatever, and then gave him a rank. And then he sent him a reply after listening to the show, and he's like, "Hey, thanks, that's great. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Whatever number they had assigned him is my lucky number." And so they were talking about that on the show, and they're like, and now we have to demote you.
Because that's not very skeptical of you.
Poor guy. And now it's kind of been a running joke on their show that they bump him up and down in rank depending on if he sends them in a story or if they
like it or don't like it.
Yeah.
Or he says something faith-based. Okay.
It's kind of funny. We have just a bunch of news stories for this evening.
Yeah.
We had the Atheist of Utah Halloween party on Saturday.
I was at work.
It was a lot of fun. You missed out. There were a couple people there who said they knew you.
Yeah. I'd actually asked them because they said, hey, I'm like, they're getting Halloween costumes and they're newer to the area and stuff and they're atheists. And then said, are you going to the Atheist of Utah Halloween party tonight? And they're like, I just saw that we were going to go down and go to the Rocky Horror Picture Show thing at 11:30. We might stop by there beforehand.
Oh, awesome.
I said, if you go, make sure you get some of Dan's chili.
So where did you meet them or see them?
I just met the one Sarah. She works at the Santa Examiner.
Yeah.
And
do you work? But how do you know them?
I went on a date with her.
Oh,
a while back. So
nice. They seemed very nice.
Yeah.
They came over and said hi and said they listened to the show. And you said, I think they mentioned that you said to get some chili. So.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if there was any left at the time. But that was the other headline story from Saturday is that, as predicted, call me Nostradamus. I won the chili cook-off.
Yeah.
And I brought home the little trophy.
And it's a lovely trophy. Yeah.
I'm very proud of my accomplishment. Thank you very much. Let me just dust off my shoulders here.
I'm not sure you're Nostradamus for it.
Well, he did predict he was going to win.
That's right.
Well, yeah, but I could throw out predictions all the fucking day, and yeah.
Well, you only count the ones that come true.
Every now and then, one of them is going to come true. I mean,
well, you don't count the other ones.
A stopped watch is correct twice a day. I mean,
no good psychic counts their misses, Grant. Yeah. They don't report their misses.
Come on, remember our wins.
Have you learned nothing
from Glenn Beck?
From Glenn Beck, or any of the failed political candidates who say that they were called to run by God and.
Or any of the apocalypse, preachers who.
That's right. We were talking about Heaven's Gate earlier.
Yeah.
Segue.
I don't.
So you put a link to the Heaven's Gate thing out on our deal?
Yeah. There's some crazy fucking shit on there. Heavengates.com.
Heavensgate.com.
Now, if you go to the second purple thing, statement by an ET. I don't know what kind of LSD they were doing, what kind of shrooms they were taking, what combination of drugs they were on.
Presently incarnate?
But yeah, it's quite long, but like if you just read like the top part there where it says
Jesus.
Oh, it's really long. These are all excerpts from their book, their holy book. There's pages of even longer shit on it, but
wow.
They're saying like in the early 1970s, two individuals, my task partner and myself, from the evolutionary level above human, the kingdom of heaven, moved into, took over two human bodies that were in their 40s. I moved into the male body, and my partner, who is an old member of the level above human, took a female body. We call these bodies vehicles, for they are simply served as physical vehicular tools for us to wear while on a task among humans. They had been tagged and set aside for our use since their birth.
I believe that was tagged and...
Tagged, yeah. What did I say?
Tagged?
Well, that's Wisconsin.
I know.
I'm like, I thought I said
I'm
tagged.
just giving you shit. They often call these bodies vehicles because they simply served as physical vehicular tools.
Yeah.
These people were clearly tools.
No, these are the leaders.
This is coming. They were able to know this.
The tools are the ones that followed these two people. This is coming from their leader.
Oh, did the leaders killed themselves? Yeah. Also, right?
That crazy, big-eyed, bald-headed dude that looked fucking psycho.
Megamind in a jogging suit.
But like on the front page of their website, you can actually go and request their probably VHS tapes to make a copy of it for free.
Well, this page was last edited January 1997.
Slightly edited.
Slightly edited, 97. And honestly, I mean, the page design, the whole site looks like the 90s. It looks 20 years old.
Yeah. And
it's got blinky text.
Yeah.
It's not quite blink. It's not It's a little fancier than that.
And it's all fucking Times New Roman, too. That's terrible. Terrible font choice for digital media.
Christ.
And stars in the background
and
just fucking up everything.
Green.
Yeah. It's all really terrible.
How and when Heaven's Gate may be entered.
Oh, yeah. I was sitting at work reading through some of this stuff. I'm like, wow, this is scary, to put it mildly.
So when does Hale Bop come back?
Hale Bop's like every 80 years. It's one of those long. No, It wasn't one of those long.
I have absolutely no idea.
It's not anytime soon. I know that much. But I had found this because...
So they have time to update their website.
Well, that's the thing. Is I had found this because apparently there's 2 people that were told to stay behind to monitor their website.
Keep it updated?
Keep it updated.
They're doing a shit job.
Yeah,
but apparently they still keep it alive because I bet they have to renew
they're registering.
So that's
domain.
all they're doing is they keep renewing and register the domain so the website stays alive.
Unlike its followers.
Yeah. I mean, they can't exactly go and edit the words of their God.
Uh-huh.
Because they're not like every other religion.
They probably don't have the password for it anymore, so they probably can't even get modify the text.
They just got the old AOL email account up that gets the notice that they need to repay their $9 for the year for their website.
Apparently they haven't heard about HTML5 yet, so...
Grant's in studio with us.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that.
The Purple Dragon. In case you haven't grown accustomed to Grant's voice by now.
I've been on once or twice.
Just a couple times.
Couple of times.
Once it was just 2 weeks ago when you were here last.
It was 2 weeks. And then we did before that 2 episodes in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and being that tonight is Halloween, I figured that other people that we have as guests on would probably be out trick-or-treating with their young children.
So he called me knowing I have no life.
Yes, that's exactly what.
We actually discussed this last week. Like, who should we get for next week? Most people got lives.
Oh, yeah, most people have shit going on. Who does not have anything going on?
We're twiddling his thumbs, waiting for Dan to call me. Oh, please.
Did we talk about it? I think we did a little bit.
Oh, did you?
Oh, just that it was going to be Halloween and it may be hard to find a guest.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, we realized it was going to be Halloween today when we were leaving. When I was leaving your house, like, oh shit, it's Halloween's next week. And who are we going to find for a guest? Because most people won't be able to make it. I'm like, oh, Grant's probably not doing anything.
To be fair, my kids are grown and gone. I don't have little children anymore.
Yeah, but did you have plans?
I partied over the weekend.
See, so
Halloween parties are
Grant's a party animal.
I Halloween party over the weekend. I'm not going to Halloween party on a Monday night.
Grant typically stays up until what, 4 in the morning
PM?
or so?
AM.
No, 3 or 4. And
okay.
Usual bedtime is 2 a.m., but sometimes it'll be 4 or 5.
I can't do that because that's when I got to go to work.
Yeah, well, I have to go to work at 8.
Okay.
That's why I have 3 alarm clocks.
Oh, jeez.
I almost fell asleep on the way to work the other day.
Do you take naps during the day?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, at my desk, at a red light.
Oh, yeah.
At a red light. In the bathroom stall. I mean, just wherever I can get a few minutes of
wherever I can find
quiet.
5 minutes of quiet time.
Everybody just thinks you take really long shits.
That's why I love working I work from home 3 days a week. So yeah, I can just kind of conk out for half an hour.
Take little cat naps here and there.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Yeah, they are nice. I very much appreciate naps.
Especially as you get older, right?
Well, I didn't want to quite go there, but yes, you're right.
I mean, we've talked about having to play Jenga with your balls.
Yes.
Now you have to take cat naps.
So,
just don't let the cats play Jenga with your balls while napping.
So let's see. What old man topic are we going to cover next time I come in?
Let's see. The many benefits of
chicken thing.
The many benefits of soup.
Oh,
ooh,
benefits of soup. Oh, Gold Bond medicated powder. Man.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I stand by that stuff too.
Oh yeah.
If you work in a hot environment, Gold Bond medicated powder is the shit.
No doubt. I mean,
it's like peppermint on your balls.
You rub that shit. It's like Elsa the Ice Queen. It's like tongue in your asshole. It's like, oh.
Are you putting it on your asshole?
Well, you just open one of your trousers up and just dump it in there.
Just pour it all in there.
Is that where your asshole is?
No, but it's eventually going to make it around to the asshole if you're pouring that much in. It's going to make its way there. You just pour it in, you pat your butt a little bit, and it makes its way right up the crack.
You guys, my anatomy must be completely different. Now I feel weird. Am I the weird one?
If I wore skinny jeans, then I'd be fucked because there would be no way to make it around because there'd be a gate right by the balls being stopped. But wearing a military uniform like over in Iraq and Afghanistan, they're loose fitting, so it just kind of fills that whole lower nether region with Gold Bond medicated powder.
With powdery miracleness.
Oh, it's instant like relief.
Powdery wonderment.
And it makes your whole body feel a little cooler.
I'm a dangly bitch.
I mean, you cool down the balls, you cool down the body.
Yeah.
Gets a little pasty after a couple of hours.
It can turn to a concrete if you don't.
And now the listeners are like, why the fuck did they keep having him on there?
But I keep going with it. Okay, now I did notice on here before we click off of this.
Okay. Yeah.
They've got a part entitled Our Position Against Suicide. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole Heaven's Gate community went out and brought white clothes and white Nikes and committed suicide.
They didn't commit suicide. They transitioned.
Yeah, but they had a transition with a special juice.
Let's see. This looks like a shorter page. What does it say? We know that it is only while we are in these physical vehicles, bodies, that we can learn the lesson needed to complete our own individual transition, as well as to complete our task of offering the kingdom of heaven to this civilization one last time. We take good care of our vehicles so they can function well for us in this task, and we try to protect them from any harm.
Wait a minute. Before you go on, the parallels between that and Mormonism.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and a lot of other religions.
Oh, yeah, your body's a temple.
Body's a temple. We're put on earth to complete tasks, to prepare ourselves for the next life. I mean, just the parallels are really interesting to me.
We fully desire, expect, and look forward to boarding a spacecraft from the next level very soon in our physical bodies. There is no doubt in our mind that we are being picked up. That our being picked up is inevitable in the very near future. But what happens between now and then is the big question. We are keenly aware of several possibilities. How would they be picked up in their physical bodies if they kill themselves and leave them behind, which is what they did?
But that's their physical bodies. The bodies they have here on Earth are their vehicular bodies.
Didn't the other one say physical vehicles, bodies? In our physical bodies.
I would think that when they're talking about their physical bodies, they mean their alien.
Well, but they say we know that it is only while we are in these physical vehicles
/ body, or quotes bodies, because we would call that a body. Yeah, they're back and forth on that, because I think what he's trying to say is they would leave their vehicle behind and go the way they returned.
It could happen that before the spacecraft comes, one or more of us could lose our physical vehicles, bodies, due to, quote, recall, accident.
This one's got a bad ankle.
Or at the hands of some irate individual. If
your body is made by Samsung, and needs to be recalled.
As long as it's not version 6/7, you'll be all right. We do not anticipate this, but it is possible. Another possibility is that because of the position we take in our information, we could find so much disfavor with the powers that control this world that there could be attempts to incarcerate us or to subject us to some sort of psychological or physical torture, such as occurred at both Ruby Ridge and Waco.
Oh, so are he saying that the people at Ruby Ridge and Waco were also supposed to be on this comet ship?
No, it's that we know that we're all part of a cult too. That's basically what it boils down to, right? These things happen to cults. We know this.
Yeah.
It has always been our way to examine all possibilities and be mentally prepared
because they're so open-minded that way
for whatever may come our way. For example, consider, and this is kind of hard to read because of the starry background.
Yeah.
It looks like periods or commas sometimes where there aren't any. For example, consider what happened at Masada around 73 AD. A devout Jewish sect, after holding out against a siege by the Romans to the best of their ability and seeing that the murder, rape, and torture of their community was inevitable, determined that it was permissible for them to evacuate their bodies by a more dignified and less agonizing method.
Evacuate their bodies.
Yeah, they took X-Lax.
No, this sounds like we're gonna kill ourselves before they kill us.
Yeah.
We have thoroughly discussed this topic of willful exit of the body under such conditions, and have mentally prepared ourselves for this possibility, as can be seen in a few of our statements. There are so many parenthetical asides in this thing that it's fucking crazy. Well, of course, the whole thing is crazy. However, this act certainly does not need serious consideration at this time, and hopefully will not in the future. The true meaning of, quote, suicide is to turn against the next level when it is being offered. And I'm stewing on that one for a second. So they're thinking that they didn't actually commit suicide.
They accepted an offering.
Because they accepted the offer of going to the next level.
Yes. By committing suicide.
In these last days, we are focused on two primary tasks. One, of making a last attempt at telling the truth about how the next level may be entered. Our last effort at offering to individuals of the civilization the way to avoid suicide. And two, taking advantage of the rare opportunity we have each day to work individually on our personal overcoming and change in preparation for entering the kingdom of heaven. Their personal overcoming?
I don't,
that sounds like an issue that some guy would have in a porn studio, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I know that you typically like really big loads, but this is just overcoming, okay? We're gonna have to do something about the amount of coming you're doing.
We asked for a monster load, not an octopus or a whale load.
You need to work individually on your personal overcoming.
This whole thing sounds like a legal disclaimer trying to get them out of a lawsuit. Yeah. Like they're trying to avoid a lawsuit from the families of suicidal heaven gators.
But if all but two of the members committed suicide and the people that led it committed suicide, who are you going to go after?
The owners, the two
go
people?
After the estates of the people who were there.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it sounds like a legal disclaimer trying to get out of a
like saying these people willfully and did it. That'd be funny if they had to sign disclaimers before they killed themselves.
It's all very strange.
If you have questions, comments, concerns, compliments, corrections, or concepts for content, contact the show via email at godlessrebelution@gmail.com, by text or voicemail at 330-81-REBEL, or Twitter the twatter at TGI Podcast. Thanks, bitches.
No, but I was thinking about the poem on the base of the Statue of Liberty, you know, which reads, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse from your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." And you know what I was thinking? What a beautiful, optimistic, humane ideal to have, and one that's quite literally the opposite of what Republicans believe. Literally the opposite of what their candidate's platform is.
Let's move on to something less strange. I don't know that Jim Baker will necessarily fill that bill.
Right-wing watch is going to be less strange.
Yeah.
Apparently Jim Baker thinks the nuclear war is coming soon. Maybe.
You have to add the maybe in there because that makes it not like 100% like I did. I said maybe. I wasn't for sure, so I gave it a maybe.
And if it does
it's not a prophecy.
Then it's a prophecy.
Yeah.
And he was right.
True. Well, you know, these apocalyptic predictions, I'm sure, have nothing to do at all with trying to benefit his slop bucket business.
Yeah.
Selling his prepper food. Let's see what he has to say.
The Supreme Court, I think, is so important.
Yes.
And I'm so concerned when I already see the internet has been given away.
The internet was given away.
Oh,
it's
damn
already
it.
happened.
Yeah.
And then you see all the things that have happened in the last 8 years.
No one.
We didn't give it to anybody? How was it given away?
Oh, you remember hearing about that? You probably heard about that when that was going on. With that, I can't remember what the PAC deal was called. They were all saying, oh, they're giving the internet away. It's like, no. The U.S. has been in control of all IP addresses worldwide. We're now allowing other countries to control their own IP addresses. So we're not giving it away. We're just following up on this treaty that we had signed saying, hey, once this gets established, we'll let the countries take over their own IPs.
Well, that's giving the internet away. It's like they have no idea how anything really works, right?
Yeah.
Amazon, you're now owned by Russia.
The church, somebody said,
the hell was that?
Is
I heard a drum roll.
Did one of you guys say that?
Kettle drums in the background.
Did you see that?
John,
I'm going to back that up to see if it was. That had to have been on this, right?
Did one of you guys say that?
I did say it.
John, did you say that? Somebody said is going underground. Did one of you guys say that?
I did say it.
John, did you say that?
John,
I just heard a doorbell and a Burger King. I don't know what the fuck's going
we were
on.
watching your seminar.
And if we don't see a miracle in the election,
Okay, now I need to pause that for a second.
Do that again.
To figure out where the hell that's. I'll bet it's coming from fucking USA Today. They have the shittiest fucking website. All their autoplay bullshit. There's no sound coming from anything else.
No. And I did it on the same spot, but it was something different that time.
That was really weird.
Do it again. We got to make sure.
The Jim Baker video is haunted. Let's see.
John, did you say that?
John,
it was just before that.
That was a doorbell again.
Did one of you guys say that?
I did say it.
Okay, let me go back here.
Somebody
it is on the video.
Is going underground. Did one of you guys
Burger
say
King.
that?
I did say it.
John, did you say that?
John,
I saw you.
His studio is haunted by a drum playing, doorbell ringing Burger King person.
And if we don't see a miracle in the election, I think we're eventually going to be going underground. And when you say underground, I mean the underground church.
The underground church.
They're going to literally not allow us to function the way we've been functioning.
Oh, you mean ripping people off?
I see this election has
tax-free,
very strong global implications. Our current administration has been giving
our current administration. It's not an administration. It's just administration.
And they also put up a picture of Barack Obama when they talk about that.
It's a good picture of Barack Obama. Anyway.
I haven't seen him take many bad pictures.
It's difficult. He's a
photogenic guy.
Yeah, he's a good-looking photogenic guy.
Yeah.
everything away to the world. He's even talking about, after the election, moving on and being the head of the world, the UN. But,
what?
He did?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Obama's going to be head of the world?
And the UN is the head of the world?
He's moving on and moving on
up to the UN. I thought he was going to the Supreme Court. That's the last thing I heard.
Yeah, he's going to be our next Supreme Court nominee.
He was going to be appointed to SCOTUS.
Gonna nominate and appoint himself?
He'll nominate himself, and Clinton will finish off the appointing.
Oh.
I have a friend in Kenya, pastor friend in Kenya, Africa, and you see,
because you know that's where Barack is from.
Yes.
Well, I was
giving him the inside scoop.
I was wondering if he meant Kenya, Detroit.
Kenya, you know Africa.
It's a suburb of Chicago.
Yeah, I just had I'm glad he cleared it up on which Kenya he was talking about.
We have been seeing the attack of the family here in America.
Yes.
But our administration has been blackmailing other countries in the world with the attack on the family and all of the implications of the family, and telling African nations that if you don't line up with what we're telling you to do, we will cut off the food help, the economic help. That's been happening for several years.
You know what he's getting at right now?
I'm sorry. No, I'm all consumed in, like, could this guy be any more flamboyant?
They have a kill
the
gays bill there. We don't like that. That's,
Oh, so we're talking about cutting off
aid if they keep having those practices.
If they keep passing laws to kill gay people.
He's saying that we're attacking the families there by not giving them aid while they're killing homosexuals. And it's probably the same thing in the U.S. He's saying, well, they're attacking the family in the U.S. by allowing gays to get married.
Which is weird because, like I said, the whole time I'm watching this guy, I'm thinking, he's flamboyant as fuck. Like, all he needs is a feather boa and some really big sunglasses.
He's probably one of the guys that puts his feet underneath the stalls in the airport bathroom.
Maybe a rhinestone piano in front of him or something. I don't know.
The economic help, that's been happening for several years now under this administration. We are heading to a global agenda that is talked about in the Bible.
Do you think
it's called the beast rising out of the sea?
But it's so much more dangerous.
Then at the bottom of the screen they have a scroll that says Revelation 13:1, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads. And apparently that represents the United Nations. Globalization. How the fuck are they making that tie?
Well, the funny thing is that I saw, not there will be. So it's already here if you saw it. It's been here since the fucking 2,000 years ago.
Okay.
Then most people think, don't you believe, John?
Well, you know, the Bible talks about a global one world government with 10 crowns and 10 horns.
10 crowns and 10 horns and one world government. He's flapping his arms around.
I have never heard that before.
No. I think he's taking the beast to be the world.
Well, I mean, I've obviously heard, you know, the paranoia about a one world government.
Yeah.
But 10 crowns and 10 horns? I've never.
You'd think if it had 10 crowns, it would have 20 horns.
I've just never heard that concept associated with the one world government before.
Either have
10 heads of state that literally encompass every region of the world. And out of these 10 regions, it says one of these heads.
There are only 10 regions in the world.
There are only 10 regions. So 10 heads with 10 horns. So they're all what, unicorns?
I wonder. So does Obama rule whatever region this is?
Well, NAFTA. So North America. So all of Canada, America and Mexico.
But still, it doesn't make sense because
Mexico's South America. So
how does that... Mexico is part of.
Oh well,
North
yeah.
America.
Sorry, But how? So
I'm trying to figure out what these 10 regions are too, because there's way more countries than 10, but there's fewer continents than 10.
Well, I mean, you have North America.
Yeah.
You have Africa. You have South America, and you can throw Central America, split it between the two. You have all of Asia.
Then Western Europe, Eastern Europe.
I mean, if
Central Europe,
Australia.
Don't forget Australia and the poles.
But the poles don't matter because no one lives there.
That's 9.
Well, people live on the South Pole, kinda. There's people year round there.
Oh, okay.
At that station.
Well, but they're researchers. I mean,
true.
Not like residents.
Yeah.
Well, they've already they've got their narrative prepared, right? So now they're just putting everything. They're making everything fit into their tidy little shoebox.
Of state will be fatally wounded and become the Antichrist. Well, all it's going to take to throw us into a global situation is a global crisis.
So wait a minute, we leaped from one world government to Antichrist.
Antichrist in a global crisis. We just need one. We've had 2 already, but we just need one.
It's a good leap.
The Antichrist is going to be born out of a one world government.
Or it's going to be.
So this is the plot of The Omen. I mean, that's what we're doing here. This is the plot of The Omen.
Global situation is a global crisis, and let me tell you, crisis dominoes are literally being stacked up in a row, and any number of these different kinds of crises could literally happen anytime.
Anytime.
A disaster can happen anytime. The hell you say?
Holy shit.
I want to buy some crisis dominoes.
There's a lot of holes in them.
That sounds fun as hell.
I mean, I hate to say something like this could happen next week, but we're going to probably talk about what's happening with Russia and the U.S. We're going head to head at what could be a nuclear war. And 1.5 to 2 years ago, we was talking about the Psalms 83 war.
Yes.
That when the first bombs go off in the Middle East, first nuclear bomb in 70 years, it'll cause a global panic. We literally, if
any nuke goes
our
off anywhere, it's going to cause a
politicians wanna
global
create
panic.
chaos before this election, let me tell you, they've got their ducks in a row.
I'm confused.
I have a prophetic word that was given to me, and I'm not going to give it today, so don't get scared, Lori.
He does that shit all the fucking time.
Now he's going to do it.
He does that shit all the fucking time. He says, God told me, I received a revelation, I heard whatever. I'm not going to tell you about it right now, but I'm telling you, I know some important shit.
But after it happens, then I'll tell you.
After it happens, I'll confirm that, yes, I was told in advance. Remember that time that I told you I couldn't tell you what I was talking about? But that's what it was.
But there's a woman in his presence, and it's too disturbing for him to talk about it right now, so he's going to hold off.
Doesn't want to harm her delicate sensibilities.
Yes.
A known prophet says that 2 atomic bombs shortly will hit the United States of America. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying
that's what the prophet said.
He's a known prophet. Is he a prophet or is he not a prophet?
Yeah.
Fucking, this guy is such an asshole.
That's true. I'm just saying, I'm just picking up a lot of
bullshit
garble on the internet, on the networks, you know what I'm saying. So just hearing the word, John.
Was it from a prophet or was he on some bullshit internet site? Because I'm confused there as well. Is it internet garble or is it a prophet that told him this shit?
Yeah,
it was the prophet Twitter.
Twitter-see.
I want to know what the people in the audience are thinking. I mean, they're just kind of.
I don't think they are. I think they are just consumers of bullshit.
Yeah.
Just letting wave after wave of whatever that fucktard says wash over them and lapping it up with wild abandon.
I wonder what he puts in those slop buckets that makes all these people listen to him.
Some kind of psychotropic drug.
Because you see him on there before making his slop stuff in the big kiddie pools. He probably has a kiddie pool full of this slop, and he feeds it to them as they come through the door.
How about a bowl of chili? Hot one.
Be right there.
Antichrist will be a woman in a man's body with 7 heads and 7 tails. Ain't that to go?
Next up, we have a story about a mother beating her son.
Yeah.
And citing religious freedom as being not only why she did it, but you can't stop me. My religion says I need to beat the shit out of my kid, so I'm going to use this defense.
Just kind of bullshit.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's bullshit, but also, I mean, why not?
Well, yeah, and we could all see this coming, right? When they started passing these RFRA laws, it was like, okay, where are you going to draw the line? What are you going to say doesn't impinge on your religious freedom?
Yeah.
At what point do you draw that line? Because you've already now said that as an employer, you don't have to provide certain services for your employees like every other employer, even though your business isn't set up as a strictly religious enterprise. Yeah. It's not a religious organization. It's a regular fucking business
is in their church
that just happens to be owned by a religious person. And you're saying that you're going to allow that business owner to do a whole bunch of shit that they shouldn't really be doing.
Yeah.
Because they're not running a religion there. They're running a fucking business.
Yeah.
And should have to follow all of the same laws that every other business owner follows.
Yeah.
Should.
So, yeah, they've just opened the floodgate for this kind of bullshit.
Well, open the floodgate even more. I mean, we've already had, even before all RFRA and all that, we had the Christian Scientists and kids dying of preventable things.
Well, there was that one family, was their 3rd child, I want to say, that passed away before they actually went to jail over it.
Oh, did they? Oh, somebody actually went to, okay.
So yeah, but they had 2 children previously that had died that could have survived given medical attention, and they just let them die.
I'm surprised anyone went to jail. I didn't think Christian Scientists ever went to jail for.
They're the only ones I can remember ever hearing about them going to jail, because even the ones
in Idaho, they get away with all kinds of fucking shit.
Yeah, in Idaho, they even had the one where it was their 17-year-old son that had his appendix burst, and they prayed over him for 3 days while he died on the couch.
Sounds familiar.
But, yeah, I remember he was really close to the age where he could have been his own adult and taken himself to the hospital, but his parents basically kept him in the house and said, "No, we're praying over you. I'm not going to the hospital."
If Jesus decides to kill you, that's just Jesus' decision. You're going to have to live with it. Or, oops, no, you're not going to live with it.
But they never got in trouble for it.
Yeah. Well, and this story is just the next iteration of that.
Yeah.
And if you look at the Bible, I mean, the Bible says you can beat your kids. It says you're supposed to beat your kids for certain things. It says you're supposed to kill your kids for certain things.
Well, and the really shitty part of all of this is that, you can believe whatever fucking nonsense you want on by yourself, right? Don't inflict that on anybody else. Don't cause harm to your child or other children because of your stupid backward fucking beliefs. And the state should step in and say, no, you can't fucking do that. That is abuse. That's endangerment.
Yeah.
You're being reckless in your care of the child who is in your charge. You are supposed to be taking care of.
Children should have rights independent of their parents'
Absolutely.
perception of what, they're not property. They're not chattel. They're not.
Well, we all know children only have rights up until they're born.
Well,
when they're in the womb, they have every right to be in that womb. You can't say no to it.
No, exactly.
Well, and these people are now claiming, anytime you step in and say, well, you can't do that. That's reckless endangerment. You're harming your child. They say, no, it's freedom of religion. You're stepping in and telling me that I can't practice my religion the way that I am being told that I should practice my religion by some ignorant asshole who reads and interprets the words of Bronze Age sheep herders.
Yeah.
As being the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
If I did something wrong on a medical call, I can go to jail for neglect.
Why? Couldn't you just say that you did whatever because it was your religious freedom?
No, I guess I don't get to claim religious freedom because I'm a fucking atheist.
These people, man. Fucking. So this story.
So what happened? Oh,
so this story comes from USA Today, whose website I fucking despise because they have autoplay everywhere. So does
CNN. It really pisses me off.
Oh yeah. The story says that the mom cites religious freedom in beating son, pleads guilty. She said her actions were protected because of her evangelical Christian beliefs. Indianapolis, a mother who cited religious freedom as a defense for beating her son with a coat hanger will serve a year on probation. After a doctor found 36 bruises on her 7-year-old son, Kinpar Tang claimed her discipline method came straight from her evangelical Christian beliefs. Spare the rod, spoil the child, I'm guessing. Marion Superior Judge Kurt Eisgruber accepted a plea agreement Friday in which Tang admitted she committed battery when she struck her son in February.
I hope he's not related to Hans Gruber. That guy's bad news.
It's going to take over Nakatomi Plaza any day now.
Nakatomi Plaza, that's Asian.
Ooh, I see the connections now. Although Tang pleaded guilty to felony battery, the agreement directed the judge to reduce it to a misdemeanor in exchange. Prosecutors dismissed a neglect charge and a more serious charge of felony battery.
It should have been a felony battery charge.
Uh-huh. Tang, 30, came to court with her lawyer and several supporters. We support this woman's right to beat the shit out of her child. An interpreter assisted the refugee from Myanmar, formerly Burma, and Tang gave short yes or no answers throughout the hearing, which lasted 15 minutes.
That's a pretty short hearing.
Tang and her lawyer, Greg Bowes, declined comment Friday. In court records, Tang cited scripture as a defense against the charges, quote, "Do not withhold discipline from a child," end quote, Tang said in court documents, citing the Old Testament's Proverbs 23:13-14. If you strike him with a rod, he will not die. If you strike him with the rod, you will save his soul from Sheol. Generally a synonym for Hades. So yeah, spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yeah.
The Religious Freedom Restoration Act, enacted in 2015, says the government cannot intrude on a person's religious liberty unless it can prove a compelling interest in imposing that burden and can do so in the least restrictive way. The beating occurred February 3rd when Tang said she stopped her son from dangerous behavior that would seriously have harmed his 3-year-old sister. Tang hit both children with a plastic coat hanger before telling them to kneel and pray for God's mercy, according to the documents.
Wait a minute. So she tried to protect the 3-year-old from dangerous activities of the 7-year-old.
Yes.
By beating both the 7 and the 3-year-old.
Yes.
With a coat hanger.
Yes.
And what did the 3-year-old do wrong?
Didn't say no. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know, whatever.
And it doesn't, the story doesn't even say what the son was doing. It just quotes Thang as saying, "I was worried for my son's salvation with God after he dies. I decided to punish my son to prevent him from hurting my daughter and to help him learn how to behave as God would want him to." That's horseshit.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat the ever-loving shit out of you, teach you how to behave. Doesn't work.
No. I could go on a whole tirade about, forget about the religious crap. Corporal punishment in general, I just have issues with.
Yeah, it's a terrible way it doesn't teach anything but to be afraid of the person who's doing it.
And apparently the only one it supposedly works on is the weakest and most vulnerable people are children who aren't even old enough to even understand why the fuck they're being beaten to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if that was actually an effective tool in teaching somebody how to behave.
Why can't I do it to my wife?
Yeah, well, and why wouldn't we be doing it to criminals, everyday criminals who rob something? Why wouldn't we just beat them?
Why can't an employer do it to an employee?
Yeah.
If it's an effective tool for training, you can only do it to children.
Code faster.
If I don't listen to my imaginary friend, why the fuck should I listen to yours?
Moving on. Pat Robertson says that we worship demons on Halloween. Did you guys know that? Have you done any demon worship today?
I am wearing a Satanic Temple t-shirt right now.
I have a doctor, so.
Grant I love that t-shirt. Grant's wearing a t-shirt that has a cartoon doctor with a big thumbs up, and it says, "Doctors, spitting in God's face since 2750 BC.
I find it funny. I go to my way to wear one of these t-shirts on Sundays when I go shopping at Smith's grocery store.
And do you get a bunch of looks?
Not yet. I haven't had anybody grab their child and hide him yet.
No, what you should do is Deseret Book.
I don't know. They're not open on Sundays, but I'll go in there sometime.
Oh, not on Sundays, yeah.
I have there's a Deseret Books right near my house, and
should wear that in Deseret Books or DI.
Do you think they would kick me out?
I don't know.
I don't, just for wearing a t-shirt? I don't think so. You'd have to be.
They kick you out of the mall down for the wrong kind of t-shirt.
Their mall? I would be kicked out for.
I know they can. Have they kicked people out?
I don't know.
I haven't heard any stories of them actually kicking people out.
I had thought about getting people down there to actually wear everything they say you can't wear. Someone to wear a dress above their knees, someone, showing the shoulders, because apparently tattoos are a thing too.
Oh, really?
You're not supposed to be, they're saying if you have tattoos, you're not supposed to be tattoo adorned. So, and go down there with some devil horns on.
We want our freedoms. They're all about wanting their freedom. Give us our country back. We need our country. They're taking away our freedoms and they're taking away our religious freedom. Fucking dress the way we tell you to, motherfucker.
Take that shirt off. I find it offensive.
God. But anyway, moving on to Pat Robertson.
He's just offensive to look at now.
Fucking crypt keeper.
From the crypt.
Halloween, supposedly All Saints' Eve, a day dedicated to the saints of God, has become a day in honor.
What? Halloween is supposed to be a day dedicated to the saints of God?
No, it's tomorrow. The day after.
Of Satan, where we worship demons, we dress like demons, we talk about satanic rituals. And
all those sexy nurse outfits, so Satanist.
But demons are real. I want to say that right off the bat.
No, they're
not.
not.
It's clear that Jesus drove out demon spirits. There are spirits in the world, fallen angels, if you will, whose job it is to destroy people and take them away from God.
You're a fucking moron. Yeah. There's no such thing. Give me some evidence of this actually fucking happening.
I'm pretty sure Jesus just said, "Hey, dude, I have to suck your dick right now. There's some demons in there. I got to get them out.
We're going to rub the bad stuff out.
Yeah.
Hold still."
They're there to hate, to kill, and to destroy Satan and the forces of evil. So we have a day now, Halloween, when we celebrate that and worship Satan. And they like that.
They like that.
I should have looked it up before I came over, but I don't remember. I've looked it up before. I don't remember the origins of Halloween being that.
No, the
origins of Halloween are very different.
They are, and the Christians put in their own spin on it. That's why you have Halloween and the day after is All Saints Day.
Right.
They had to tack their own thing onto it. But yeah.
Well, it's thought to have originated with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain.
Yeah.
When people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off roaming ghosts.
Which is not the same thing as worshiping demons.
No.
It's kind of the opposite, isn't it?
It's almost like you're hiding from the demons.
Well, yeah, and you were supposed to look scary yourself to scare away the demons.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what the girls do in sexy kitten outfits.
They scare away all the 12-year-old boys.
Scare.
I say, if you go to our Facebook, we got a message from a listener that's relevant to that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So if we go to the top of that one, there's an article about the haunted houses put up by the churches that are there to scare you.
Oh, the hell house bullshit.
And this one isn't a hell house. This is something different. Because I've heard of the hell houses.
Judgment house?
Yeah, it's called a judgment house.
Oh, I have never.
We're not here to pass judgment except at the judgment house.
Yes. Now, another funny thing is
with
today,
Halloween right around the corner, families in the river.
Fuck you, autoplay. Autoplay, go.
God.
Go be by yourself for a second. There was one of these in Chicago that wasn't related to this group, but they got shut down because they depicted a scene of the Pulse nightclub shooting inside of their haunted house, and they're like, "Whoa, we don't want to be a part of this." Like, you told us what you're doing, then we show up, like, you've got the Pulse nightclub, like, anti-gay stuff, then you got all this abortion shit going on in here. Like, whoa, what is going on? Say, no, you guys are done. You're canceled. We won't allow you to do this.
Who canceled it?
The building, the people who owned it was a public building, I think, that they had gotten permission to have a haunted house in, but they didn't tell them what was going to be in the haunted house. So when they found out what was in it, they were like, fuck you, you're out.
Wow.
This is distasteful.
Yes.
So this is churches use judgment houses to evangelize at Halloween time. And this was sent in to us from listener Ali, who sent this to us in a message on our Facebook page.
With Halloween right around the corner, families in the river region are finding a number of ways to celebrate.
One activity that draws hundreds of visitors every year is the River Region Judgment House. WSFA 12 News reporter Morgan Young has more on what local churches call a Christian alternative to a haunted house. Her story is new at 10.
It's not a haunted house, it's a judgment house.
It's a different way to scare the shit out of your children.
Not Halloween yet, but kids are already lining up for a bit of a scare. They're not collecting candy. They're not dressed up. They came to get a new perspective on a biblically historic concept.
They show us, like, what happens after your death, like, what happens when you go to hell.
So worms eating your body and stuff?
As people walk through, they're not going to see the typical ghosts and gremlins and ghouls. They're going to see a recreation of a real-life natural disaster. This year, the aftermath of a tornado.
The tornado kills 2 people.
Yeah.
Patrons watch a portrayal of the victim's memorial service. Then a representation of the Bible's Judgment Day, where they are assigned to their final destination.
The participants that come through the building get to see what it means to really be faced with
his name's Gay.
Mortality, and then also
we know where he's
what it's
going
like to have the afterlife.
Gay calls the event an alternative way to celebrate the Halloween season.
People are out there trying to scare people, and
their audio is terrible.
Yeah, it is.
Which include death and things like that. We want to take advantage of that and say, look, death is a reality, but it's not something to be scared of.
Even parents who celebrate Halloween with their children say that message is important.
We still do trick-or-treating and haunted hay rides and stuff like that. I remember coming to a judgment house when I was a kid and the impact that it made on me. It's scary, but it's reality.
It scared the hell out of me, and I thought I'd torture my children with it too.
Yeah. Because I listen to the Bible. I can't read yet.
This is from Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah, I don't want to insult everybody there. but
you should.
Well, being the person that sent us in said she was from the Deep South, I don't want to offend that person.
Other than decent football players, what the fuck does Alabama offer anything? Judgment houses and football players, religious fucking nut jobs.
The liberal redneck taught me not to put everybody into the same thing of Skittles.
Doesn't NASA have an installation in Alabama?
Actually, yeah, I saw there's a whole show where the guys that were there, the redneck like rocket guys, they're like, yeah, we work at NASA and here we are out in our backyard building rockets.
Redneck rocket guys?
Yeah, they're like total redneck Southern guys, and they're building they built their own quadcopter to carry them around their backyard and shit, and they're building giant fucking 20-foot rockets in their garage and launching these things, like launching toilets and refrigerators and shit.
Hold my beer and watch this.
But they're the guys who build all the rocket and NASA engines. And the guy's like, yeah, my dad did the Apollo stuff. I worked on all the shuttles and.
What's that MTV show where he kicks himself in the balls all the time?
Jackass?
Jackass. Is that where Jackass came from? To Jackass originated in Alabama?
Tennessee.
Oh, so close enough.
Well, he named himself after Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
His real name isn't Johnny Knoxville.
Apparently, he has to use a catheter 2 times a day now.
Yeah, he does. After his dick got broken by a dirt bike.
He broke his dick?
Oh yeah, broke it bad.
He's not on TV anymore
because he's broken himself so bad.
He's not doing well.
You ever heard of Nitro Circus?
Sounds vaguely
They're actually
familiar.
here in Utah now because they have their playground out here someplace. They're the guys that do all the crazy BMX, motorbike stuff, doing the crazy jumps. Well, he was out hanging out with them here in Utah one day, and he decided to learn how to backflip a dirt bike.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on about the 3rd attempt, the bike went up in the air, he went down, and when the bike came down, the handlebar landed square on his dick and busted it in 2.
Oh, fuck.
So he's even in the back of the ambulance like, I didn't think my day was going to end like this. He's reaching his hand like he's just nothing but blood coming out of his dick.
God.
So in order to keep it open so it doesn't fuse up and close, he has to put a catheter up there twice a day. He had to wear a catheter for an entire year after he broke it.
Oh my God.
And he's married with 3 kids. I don't know how the fuck that happened. You figure
it was before he broke his dick.
I was going to say.
No, I think one of the kids came after he broke his dick because one of his kids was pretty young.
Well, that wasn't natural then.
But he started
that
doing
was artificial.
I saw a thing on him saying he started doing Jackass when they had their first kid because he's like, wow, I make no money right now. I'm trying to get going with this, print media and stuff. And he's doing articles for a thing. And he's like, let's make a video out of this instead of I'll really test shit out. So he maced himself and tased himself to do an article about what it's like to be pepper sprayed and tased and everything. And the guys that do Jackass are like, wow, who's this guy? And that's how he got famous.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's hire that guy.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Well,
hey, Mikey, he'll do anything.
And Allie, if you happen to live in Alabama, first let me offer my sincere condolences.
We're sure you're the one normal person.
And then to say that, okay, maybe there's at least one good thing that comes out of Alabama besides football.
The event has been a fall staple in the river region for nearly 30 years. And Gay says that in the last 5, the program has left nearly 1,000 people with a new sense of faith. Morgan Young, WSFA 12 News.
The River Region Judgment House will continue to host groups each night through Halloween from 6 p.m. until 9. Tickets are free.
You know, as a lot of people know, Halloween actually does have its roots in Christianity. All
No,
Halloween.
it doesn't!
You fucking
All Saints Day. And we remember those. who
God
died
damn it!
last night.
Has nothing to do with
We
candy.
just talked about that too.
Not originally.
All Saints Day is the day after Halloween.
Alabama, a state so fucking ignorant even your newscasters don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
But they do it with a big smile.
Yes.
Well, Jesus said that it's just born out of Christianity, so clearly that's what it is.
Yeah.
Jesus talked all about Halloween.
And had you guys seen the documentary Hell House?
Fuck me, I can't
No.
fucking... I'm just going to readjust myself in my chair.
I will say in defense
Need
of
more
Allie,
alcohol.
if Allie is in Alabama, in defense of her, I mean, the 3 of us live in Utah.
Yeah.
So if anyone outside of Utah were to look at us and say, what the fuck are you doing in Utah?
That's why whenever anybody goes, "Oh, you're from Utah," I'm like, "No, I'm from Wisconsin, motherfucker. I ain't from this state. I do not claim this state one fucking bit. I'll claim Ed Gein. I'll claim Jeffrey Dahmer. I will not fucking claim Utah."
I'll own the serial killers, but no, fucking Utah.
The
Look at
Mormons,
me, fuck
the
that.
Mormons, no, not gonna happen. No, I like Utah. I fucking love Utah, actually. It's awesome. We have mountains, we have deserts, we have lakes, we have
dirty air,
we have skiing. Yeah, really fucking terrible air.
Bad liquor laws. Zion curtains.
Yeah.
Zion curtains.
It goes on.
Tony,
I know you're being all positive and I'm being all negative.
Awesome.
You're a good foil, Grant.
I mean, I just want to get a bottle of wine when I get my dinner at Smith's. I mean, is that asking too much?
Yeah, we have awesome alcohol selections here. Just phenomenal.
Oh,
worst in the world.
We've got a pretty decent selection at some of the liquor stores, but
yeah. And you can order anything.
But you have to go to
But you have to
the
order by a
liquor store.
case. And it has to be on the approved list for the state to order it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of fucking legal wrangling you have to go through to get special ordered shit if it's not something that they just ordinarily carry at the liquor store.
Where if I lived in any other state, I could buy an individual bottle and have it sent to my front door of my fucking house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just order it online, have it delivered. And Utah misses out on all of that because, what is it, 78% of our no, more than that. I thought it was approaching 90% of our legislature is LDS.
Yeah.
And on our liquor board for the state, only 2 people out of the 7? There
was a time, there was a very, very long time where there were no drinkers on the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control here in Utah.
Well, they did a news article on it a few months back, and they were talking about it, and the guy's like, "This is the first time I ever stepped foot in one of these stores." And you run them! You are in charge of the laws that govern these fucking stores, and you never step foot in one, you fucking piece of shit.
Well, it's Satan sauce. You don't want to go in where they're selling Satan sauce.
One there, and they're trying to protect the children.
It's the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control. We try to control that.
So we don't want to give our kids alcohol, but we'll give them all the codeine and Vicodin and pills they want.
Yes. But I was not at all surprised as soon as I heard a Southern accent come out of the people speaking, because this is the type of shit that I imagine happens all over the place. In the Bible Belt in the Deep South.
There's a documentary called Hell House, which goes over those. It's probably, the documentary's probably from late 90s, early 2000s. I caught it on Netflix a while back. But that's what it goes all about, is just the shit like that, where they're actually getting ready to put one of those on. And I think that particular group that was hosting that one is no longer around. Like, they got shut down. But, yeah, some fuckery.
So, I mean, it sounds like these, what are they called again? Worship houses?
Judgment houses.
Those, yeah.
Sounds like it's been around for a while. I have never heard of a judgment house before.
I never heard of a judgment house, but I have heard of the Hell House. And
yeah,
I've heard of those
houses.
those Christian-themed haunted houses before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've heard of hell houses, but I have not, until today, heard of judgment houses. So, I learned something. Thank you very much, Allie.
Yeah.
For giving me something else to put a few more drops in my murder bucket. No, thanks for contacting us, Allie. Glad that you're enjoying the show.
But every time I study the groups that fund and run the atheist, they're not atheists, they're occultist. And I guess if they can't get people to be occultist, they will just get them to become atheist, and then atheists almost always become supporters of eugenics and abortion, and humans are just blobs, and humans don't have any great destiny, and humans are a parasite. And you just can't ignore the fruits of these people.
You guys want to listen to Alex Jones?
Do we fucking have to?
I don't know. Sometimes I get upset.
Funny.
Yeah, sometimes I get upset at the things he says, and other times it's just like, he's so far fucking gone that it's just laughable. How does anybody take this clown seriously?
I'm just waiting for him to rip his human vehicle body flesh off and show his true reptilian self underneath.
It's like, so I used to compare this guy to Glenn Beck, right?
Yeah.
And now they're like, Glenn Beck and Alex Jones are feuding because Glenn Beck had been supporting Ted Cruz and Alex Jones was supporting Trump, and then Trump won and Alex Jones gloats about it, and Ted Cruz then endorsed, and now Glenn Beck is Mr. Sadface. And he's so disenchanted with Ted Cruz, who he had been told was God's choice. And now Ted Cruz is endorsing Donald Trump and making political excuses for why that's the best thing to do for our country. Did you guys see that, though? The whole little thing where Glenn Beck actually had a phone conversation with Ted Cruz during one of his shows and kind of got in a little bit of a heated thing and was basically telling Ted Cruz that he wasn't acting ethically.
Oh.
No. And then afterward,
I didn't see that one.
Lamented that, this was, he saw Ted Cruz actually doing some political calculations or whatever while he was talking to him on the phone, and he's just so disappointed and deeply wounded.
Do politicians have different calculators than we do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one thing I remember is this weepy little tale that Glenn Beck told about some barbecue at his house in Texas where his daughter was living next door.
Yeah.
Because apparently they're all in like this compound thing or whatever. and Ted Cruz, this was before Ted Cruz crashed and burned.
Yeah.
And the daughter was like questioning, I don't know if I like Ted Cruz or not. So she goes up and asks all these.
Because he hates gay people, I think was the deal. Yeah.
Deep, honest questions of Ted Cruz, and Ted Cruz defended his beliefs, and they had an honest conversation. And Glenn Beck got all weepy about it because his daughter came around.
And I told my daughter that this is an honorable man.
This is an honorable man. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and now he's so disillusioned, and it makes me happy.
Well, and now he's fucking on the same side as Michael Moore.
Yeah.
I mean, now he's like fucking agreeing with Michael Moore on shit. It's weird.
Yeah,
this political season has just gotten fucking batshit crazy.
It's created Bizarro World.
Yeah, it has.
It has, and I'm terrified. I'm still terrified. I know Clinton is leading in the polls.
But it's not done till it's done.
It's like 85% chance that she'll win. But there's that 15% chance.
But
there should be zero fucking chance.
There should be zero chance.
There should be, and you look at the polls where they say who, among voting public, who are you going to vote for? And depending on the poll, it's anywhere between a 1 point and like a 7 or 8 point spread between the two. Why are there so many people who can support Donald fucking Trump? He's a monster.
Because there's so many racists and monsters in this country.
They're racists and monsters. They're uninformed and ill-informed people who don't bother doing research, who don't bother learning. What's his name? Bill Maher did a wonderful thing on his last show about.
Bill Maher doesn't do many wonderful things these days.
Not this, but this one quote that he had was in reference to ill-informed voters who think they're.
Well, Donald Trump has said that he loves ill-informed voters.
Oh, yeah.
He loves ignorant, uneducated people because he appeals to them.
Yeah. Well, and he was talking about the false equivalency argument between Trump and Hillary and how that's really all Trump and Republicans have left.
Yeah.
Is arguing false equivalency. And he said, this was his quote, you say you're cynical about politics. Don't flatter yourself. Cynical comes when you know too much. You haven't bothered to learn anything.
Pretty good.
All these people who are all pissed off and saying, I hate both sides. That's just a cop-out because they don't want to waste the time. They don't want to bother learning both sides. So they just say, all politics is rigged. It's all bad. So, and now they don't actually have to do any work.
God damn it. When I was, last week, I had to spend a couple days in the office, and it was all day trapped in a conference room with my coworkers, Dampf being one of them.
Ooh, your best buddy.
Tuesday went okay. Thursday, the first part of the day went okay. And there were little things throughout the meeting in the day where he would just say something really stupid. He always mixes up his idioms and just like he sounds like he's, I don't know, like he has some sort of mental disability, some learning disability.
He's got the Mormonisms.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. But Thursday, the first part of the day goes well. We go out to lunch. We get back from lunch, and, you know, we all went to lunch at the same place. I talked everybody into going to my favorite Mexican place, so that was a plus. But then we get back to the office, and, you know, we get back, and people are going to their desk to check their email, going to the restroom, getting a drink, whatever, filtering into the conference room. And I happened to be one of the first people back, and Damf was one of the first people back. There were like 4 people in the room, and it was just idle chit-chat while we're waiting for everybody else to come in, and he started talking about politics. And it was all I could do to not leap across the table and just start fucking screaming at him, "You stupid motherfucker, you don't have a fucking clue what you're talking about." He was complaining about, oh yeah, you know, Donald's, he's got a good reason to be nervous about, you know, voter fraud and the elections being rigged. You know, I saw a story just the other day of this county clerk and she went to vote on one of the voting machines and realized that it didn't take her vote right. So she shut everything down immediately and she reverted back to a paper ballot. And you know, you just got to be really careful about this kind of stuff. And you hear about voter fraud all the time. And it's scary.
No,
I'm really afraid this election might be stolen from him, and I'm like, you fucking asshole.
You hear people paranoid about voter fraud all the time. It doesn't actually happen. Iowa just yesterday, it was in the news. Iowa, the first voter fraud case they've had in 16 years. Was this woman,
a Republican woman
who was so afraid of voter fraud that she decided to vote twice
for Trump
to overcome the voter fraud that Trump is telling her is happening that isn't fucking happening.
Yeah. And when people are afraid of voter fraud,
and now she's being charged.
Oh yeah,
with a felony.
It's
a felony. It's a federal felony.
Yes.
I think about 80% of the cases that I could find on voter fraud for the last 20 years were all Republican.
Yeah.
It's that whole projection thing, right?
Yeah.
It's all of their problems they project onto somebody else.
And very few were for presidential. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's local elections are the only ones you can really defraud. You can't defraud a national election.
And like we had talked earlier when we were going over,
unless you're talking about, you know, gerrymandering.
Yeah.
Gerrymandering, that's a whole separate thing.
And creating all of these restrictions where people can't vote. You know, limiting student registration
or kicking people off voter rolls.
Yeah, that kind of shit. The Republicans fucking do to keep people off of the voting rolls and to not allow them to cast their ballots. They're the ones who are fucking keeping people from voting and then blaming Democrats and saying, "Oh, there's all kinds of rigging going on."
Yeah.
And that's where, like, we talked earlier about the people that pass away and they get taken off the voter registration, even though someone else might have the same name and they get taken off.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the cases where people are saying voter fraud turned out to be, oh, we thought you were this dead person, but it turns out you are still alive and legally allowed to vote.
Well, yeah, and they're accusing, that's where a lot of these stories of dead people voting are coming from. They're not actually dead people voting.
Yeah.
It's that they were improperly removed from voting rolls because somebody with the same name had died.
Yeah.
And was removed, but you cast your vote. Yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
But so Bill Maher went on to say, and this is fairly short, but he went on to follow that up with Noam Chomsky said, when talking about a sports calling show, it's plain, quote, it's plain that quite a high degree of thought and analysis is going into that. People know all sorts of complicated details about sports. Then on the other hand, when I hear people talk about, say, international affairs or domestic problems, it's at a level of superficiality that's beyond belief. This is Noam Chomsky. And then Maher goes on to say, before people go out for a taco, they'll spend an hour on Yelp researching for the most authentic one, all for something that will be out of their body in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But they won't bother to research a candidate or any of these stories or any of this bullshit. They email all that shit. They won't bother to spend any time researching that. They want a quick little meme that you know sums everything up in a few characters or a tweet or something like that.
Well, they don't have to research it.
That's all they need.
They don't have to research it when their fucking savior, Donald Trump, is up there telling them exactly what they want to hear. What already feels good and true to them. Mm-hmm. What already fits into the narrative that they live their lives by.
Yeah.
And I had even gotten in an argument with a guy at work Friday about Trump's dropping how he's getting jobs back in this country. He's going to lower their rate to 15% for corporations from 32, and that's going to bring all the jobs. I'm like, how the fuck is that going to bring jobs back? Well, they're going to have to lower taxes here. It's going to be more incentive. I'm like, no, because then they're going to have to pay employees an actual fair wage. And I'm like, guess what? There's also countries that have zero income tax for everybody. So why don't these fucking companies go there?
Yeah.
They go to the country where they can have the cheapest fucking wages to pay people. It's not about the taxes. It's about the fucking wages.
Well, it's about the cost of production.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to build your plant, to run your plant, to hire people to work there?
And the reality is it doesn't matter how low your taxes come. It's about how much demand you have for your product.
Yeah.
If you don't have demand for your product, you're not going to hire new people. Doesn't matter what taxes you're paying or what the wages are or anything. If you don't have demand, then you're not gonna hire new people.
I know a few people who run their own businesses, and for whatever reason, they are well, I know the reason. They're religious, so they're also Republicans, and it kills me when I hear them say such ignorant fucking things as, well, if I make $500,000 more per year at my business, then, I'll have to hire more people, but I can't hire more people because then I'll have to provide insurance for them. And so then at the end of the day, I'm only going to be bringing home $200,000 more. And I'm like,
oh, only 200,000?
Poor fucking you.
Poor.
You poor fucking shit, you. You'll have to hire somebody to provide a decent paying job for them. And then the gross amount of money that you'll be earning from them is $500,000, but you'll have to be paying, between providing healthcare benefits for them and a salary for them and paying extra amount in taxes, you'll only be taking home $200,000 more. What the fuck is stopping you from doing it? Are you that fucking stupid?
Right.
Is math that foreign a concept to you that it doesn't matter? You're still going to be bringing home $200,000 more. You fucking nitwit.
And if there's that much demand for your product, you're going to turn customers away just because you're insulted by having to
and an extra $200,000
a year, just because you're insulted that you have to provide insurance.
While there's people out there that would love to have just an extra $500 a year.
Yeah, well, but it's the simple math of the whole fucking thing that kills me. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, let me get this straight. You are complaining about making an extra $200,000 a year?
Yeah.
What the fuck is your complaint here?
Yeah.
Well, they'll be taking more than half of that and all the things that I'll have to provide. And I'm like,
that's what your business.
Okay.
You are being so short-sighted and selfish and greedy and a fucking asshole about this. You could be making just look at it this way. Forget everything else. I'll give you $200,000.
Yep.
Are you going to turn that away? What the fuck is your problem? And I've heard that story over and over and over again for the past decade from my friends who have businesses. Like, well, I'll have to hire more people, and then if I hire one more person or two more people, then I have to provide health care for people, and then I have to set up all this other stuff, and then I'm only going to be making this much more money.
Yeah, it's called being responsible.
So I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna hand you $500,000.
Fucking A, I'd be happy.
And then I'm gonna say, but you have to give me $300,000 back. You're going to tell me fuck you?
No, I still got fucking $200,000. But I would ask, why do you need $300,000 back?
Why the fuck do you care?
Well, I mean, if it's like a lottery, it's like, oh, you're being taxed on it. That's what you got paid. But if it's just some guy's going to give me a gift, I'm like, why don't you just give me $200,000 to start with?
Just figure it that way.
Okay.
Just figure it
What's the difference, really?
But
I keep thinking about the supply and demand argument. Yeah. Because on that side of things, they're saying, oh, yes, I know you'd love to buy my widget, but I can't hire enough people to make my widget for you because otherwise I'd have to pay them a salary and give them benefits. Yeah. So, no, you can't buy my widget. What the fuck kind of business owner is that?
Bad.
A stupid business owner.
But seeing on the business side of it, it makes complete sense, though. It's like, okay, the company will bring in an extra $500,000 a year. If I hire 4 more employees, we can make this much more product, get this much more out. And then after paying them and all the insurance and everything, that brings an extra $200,000 into the business. I'm like, how is that? not a smart move.
And here's the other crazy thing is his competition is already doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, so you talk about like fast food. That's one of the famous arguments is fast food. And if we force McDonald's or Burger King, they'd have to raise the price of their Whopper by 5 cents or some shit like that to give their employees, benefits.
Yeah.
But In-N-Out Burger does that. They're, hires, Sonic, they all give their employees, well, I know In-N-Out does. I don't know about the other two, but there are fast food chains that give their employees benefits. They're already doing it and they survive. Yeah. They compete quite well.
They're very successful. They're expanding
Wendy's
all over the place.
And Burger King and all those. So somehow they've been able to figure it out and still be successful.
Yeah.
So any industry you talk about where somebody in that industry is complaining about what you're talking about, Dan, they have some competition who is already doing it and has figured out how to be successful, and they're going to end up winning in the end.
But sometimes the industry fights against those people, like the guy that had his company up there, I think it was either in Washington State or in Oregon, where he wanted to pay his employees a minimum of $70,000 a year. The lowest paid person in his company is going to be paid $70,000 a year. There was no such thing as sick leave or paid leave. Like if you needed off of work, it was paid and you got it.
Yeah.
Just to make sure everything's good. Okay. Make sure to take care of yourself and then come back to work.
Yeah. I heard about
it. It turns out it was working really well until a lot of other industries were like, we're not going to do business with this guy anymore. They wanted him to fail at this so bad because they wanted to prove his model didn't work. That places he was ordering from, like products and everything else, were trying to not work with him anymore because they wanted his business model to fail to show, hey, look, that doesn't work.
Destroying our narrative.
That doesn't work.
I had heard that they're still doing.
They are still doing work, but I heard they had a lot of pushback from other companies that are working.
They might have. But I remember that story, and I remember it because it came up a month or so ago. Because all the employees banded together, pitched in together, and bought the owner a Tesla.
Holy shit, right. That is fucking. That just shows how much they appreciate the owner of the company.
They had a video on it. They had the owner coming out with a big bow on it, and everyone who worked there had pitched in for a brand new Tesla for this guy.
Yeah, I've heard he's having success with it, but I've also heard that he's getting industry pushback from people that are trying to.
I'm not surprised.
Trying to make it as hard as possible for him to even make a living doing what he's doing anymore.
He's not the only one doing it. I mean, Starbucks up in Washington, they're doing it too, with minimum wage and all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's spreading company to company, but.
It's all the greedy fuckers who are like, we're going to make sure that you fail because if you succeed in this, then that destroys the narrative that we've been promoting for however long.
Yeah.
That, oh no, if we raise our employees' pay, then our business is going to collapse and then nobody will have a job anymore.
Well, I think we've also created the narrative has been created that when you go to work isn't supposed to be this thing where you go there and have fun and enjoy it. You're supposed to be working and working hard and
Google fucking disproved that.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's like even like old TV and stuff on TV and in like media, work is not a thing you're supposed to enjoy where it should be like, no. You should love going to work. You should be able to go to work every day and enjoy your job, like being there, like your boss, like everything about it because they treat you right.
Yeah. That's why, I mean, Google has fucking 4-star restaurants. Yeah. They have a fucking spa.
They take care of, alleviate all the stress and worries that an employee has to worry about, and they're going to fucking work for you.
Daycare.
Yeah.
Well, and they, as far as I know from the last time I looked into working at Google, they pay their employees to go and do charitable work for different companies. I think it was 10 hours a month or something like that they just pay you to go do charitable shit.
Yeah.
You get, I think it was 4 or 6 hours every week to just think about things.
Well, yeah, 3M
to just create or think about how to improve things.
3M does that too. They give you like 10 to 15 or so % of your time, and you can use any of the 3M resources to just work on private projects, to think of whatever you want. And then whatever you come up with is part yours and part 3M's. Mm-hmm. So you have a co-ownership in whatever you come up with. 3M takes part of it too, which makes sense.
Yeah. You're using company resources and they're paying you for your time. Sure.
And that's where shit like Post-its come from.
Yeah.
And Yeah, it's if I ran a business, I mean, this is the kind of shit I would learn from. This is how I'd fucking run a business.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not a greedy fuck either, so.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to think I'm not.
But atheists and people say, oh, I don't believe in the devil. Well, it doesn't matter if you believe in the devil or not. There are people who rule the planet who believe in the devil. There are humans who believe in it and who are manifesting it. You got that, Mac? It's real one way or the other. Period. Satan is real. Period. Period. End of story. And it's manifesting. Now, what are you going to do about it?
All right. So
Okay,
we mentioned Alex Jones
20 minutes ago.
20 minutes ago or so.
Although on Alex Jones, so I've seen a few of these things, and what we need on these videos is like a vein popping scale. Oh, we need a scale of 1 to 10 on how big that vein in his neck gets to judge the veracity of each video.
And we need like Muppets that are changing the numbers out.
we need some objective scale. We need to come up with something to be able to actually measure the size of the vein.
Do you guys think he really believes the things that he says?
We've talked about this before.
That, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm a cynic, and so I think people like him and what's her name, the blonde bitch, and
the blonde bitch. Which one?
Coulter.
Oh, Ann
Coulter.
Yeah.
The
I think Ann Coulter. I think Ann Coulter believes what she says.
Who's that Asian Ann Coulter?
Lisa Lang, but
no,
she's not crazy.
Michelle.
No, Lisa's awesome.
Michelle.
Well, I was going with the opposite being.
No. The conservative.
Michelle. What the fuck is her last name?
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, she works for Fox.
Yeah. I mean, they're so extremist that I can't help but wonder if it's an act, if it's just something they created, a persona
for getting ratings,
like Stephen Colbert did with the Colbert Report. Yeah. He created this Republican persona to sell that they don't do that just to sell the brand, but that they're actually some kind of liberal living in some beach house in Santa Barbara or some shit like that.
Michelle Malkin.
That's who I'm thinking of.
I almost wanted to say that David Silverman had talked about that. I can't remember if with us or somewhere else. I heard him talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Where he was, I can't remember whose show he was on Fox.
He was talking about Hannity versus O'Reilly.
But like you said, before we aired, we're talking, and it was just normal conversation back and forth. Then all of a sudden you go on air and it's boom, attack dog, just complete, personality change.
O'Reilly's another good example. I mean, he's a fucking ex-sportscaster, right? Yeah. And, he wasn't, and now all of a sudden he's doing this.
Yeah.
I just can't help but think that it's just a persona they made up.
Well, and so in talking to Dave, he said that going on the O'Reilly factor with Bill O'Reilly, backstage and pre-show, Bill's very warm, affable. He's a nice guy, easy to get along with, fun to talk to, whatever. But then as soon as the camera starts rolling, he turns into a pit bull attack dog and comes at you. He says, and then as soon as the camera stops, he'll turn and look at you and go, "That was good television." It is.
Yeah.
He's selling.
As far as O'Reilly goes, it's largely an act, and that he's actually a decent guy. And he said that Hannity is the opposite. That Hannity, everybody
I think he's honest.
Yeah, Hannity actually believes the bullshit that he says,
and I think Beck does too.
That everybody that works with Hannity thinks Hannity is an asshole. They all think that Hannity is just a gigantic fucking asshole.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how Combs did it for all those years.
He seemed like just a defeated little person.
Yeah.
But in a way, I do think Alex Jones is crazy.
I think he has some issues, but like last week, the episode that we released today, when he's talking about the Apple phone and Apple products, and he pulls out an Apple phone as a demonstration of the Apple logo. And it's got a case on it. It's his fucking phone that he's complaining about Apple products being from the devil and everything. And it's like, okay, if you honestly believed that, I doubt very seriously that you would have it in your fucking pocket, dipshit.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't really believe the things he said. I think for him, it's a money-making thing.
Well, and that's why, it would be so easy to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be so easy to...
If you had no ethics...
To create a narrative, this demonistic, Samsung Galaxy 7s, to create some, like, secret government conspiracy about Galaxy 7s blowing up, and that's some kind of NSA thing. You know, if you think about it for, like, 10 minutes, you could create some kind of... psychobabble narrative
It's because it was alien technology.
To tie that into the NSA.
Well, we tried to use the alien technology before it was really available, and we understood it totally.
Yeah.
Or that wasn't the battery blowing up. That was the NSA tracker in it that was wired in wrong.
Or that. There you go. See? It doesn't take much to come up with this. All you need is a personality. You need that screen...
presence.
That presence to push it apart, and that vein popping out of your fucking neck.
And if you say bullshit enough, and soon enough it just becomes shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the shit that we hear from the Republican Party and conservatives in general is just, if you repeat it often enough, it becomes the truth.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's what Alex Jones does. Maybe he does believe it on some level. I don't know. But it seems disingenuous to me when I look at evidence like his phone last week that is just like, you've got to be fucking kidding me, dude. That's your fucking phone that you're complaining about being a tool of the devil. Let's hear what he has to say about Donald Trump being a messenger of God and a King David of our time.
King David of all people.
It's official. Donald J. Trump has won the 2016 election in a massive landslide.
In a massive landslide.
Huh.
Oh, shit.
Well, by the time people hear this, they might know the truth to that, but it's still next week for us.
So, Tracy was looking at my calendar earlier today. Because I share my calendar with her. So because she's actually my calendar. Like, she keeps track of all the different shit that I have to do all the time. And so she reviews my calendar all the time. She's like, oh, remember, you got to do this and do that and do whatever, because she's really good at that and I'm not. And so she helps me out there. So anyway, she saw that for next week, it says election results, but it's scheduled for Monday.
Yeah, because we originally were going to record on Wednesday,
right?
But my schedule changed,
and so I just dragged it from Wednesday over to Monday, and now it still says election results, and so we may have to do. I think next week we'll have to do like our reaction to the election going either way, right? And then I'll have to
so do two headlines, and then you'll know which one.
I'll have to run whichever one was actually the result.
We would have to
you could run the other one as a blooper reel later on,
because we'd have to play our Donald Trump reaction, because that would be the funnier one.
Yeah. With just Muppet arms waving in the air,
the sounds
flames behind us,
the sounds of aircrafts flying over the house and bullets flying through the windows and us ducking and covering, and
it's the end of the world. The Mormons were right. End times are upon us.
It's Jesus.
All right, let's continue with the nonsense here.
Trump is a godsend.
I'm going to shoot you straight. A year and a half ago, I began to support Donald Trump, but I was holding my nose. I didn't really know who he was.
Oh, I thought you had a sneeze.
But after watching him go through this trial of fire, the demonization, the attacks, the lies, all the big billionaires, all of them.
What?
The communist Chinese, the corrupt Saudi Arabians, the Pope come out against him. And to see the globalists in both political parties and all the big political bosses line up against him. I am so proud of the fact that I chose the populist. I chose the man who was trying to defend this Republican who's gone through it.
Did you see it? Did you guys notice that video? Watch this. Watch this video of Donald Trump coming off the airplane. Just watch him. Watch him.
I'm watching.
Who was trying to defend
this. We could put dildos in there.
Yeah, picture two dicks on either side.
We need to Photoshop some dildos in there.
What the fuck is he talking about that Trump's been under fire for a year and a half?
And then he's a populist.
Trump hasn't been under fire.
Oh, he's a populist for sure.
The media didn't start paying attention to him till like September.
Because they thought he was a
joke.
They
were largely ignoring him. They let him blather on. You know, MSNBC, fucking what's his name, the fucking asshole, Misha Brzezinski and what's his name?
Joe
Scarborough.
Yeah.
Scarborough and Brzezinski would have him on all the time, and they just kind of laugh at all his silly shit. Today's Show would have him
Donald,
on.
you're so stupid.
And no one would challenge him on anything. No one would bring up the taxes. No one talked about the lawsuits, anything until September. He has not been under the microscope until September. This whole thing that he's been under fire for a year and a half.
No.
Yeah, the GOP didn't like him. Sure. The Pope didn't like him, but no
Who
one
does the Pope like?
He likes it a Pope.
People with dirty feet.
True.
Cardinals who protect the church instead of the children who were raped by priests.
Yeah. But it's just idiot. This argument that, and I keep hearing it, and we're going to hear it a lot more after he loses.
Oh, yeah.
That's the media's fault. But the media didn't even pay attention to him until September.
Donald Trump is the media.
Yeah.
Before that, everyone was focused on Hillary and all the bad shit she was doing. For the last 2 years, it's been all about Hillary and Benghazi and emails.
Yep.
That's all the media has cared about.
Benghazi!
So,
keeping her in the media in a negative light.
Blaming the media for it's just idiotic, in my opinion, because they weren't even paying attention.
Disingenuous at best.
Disingenuous, yeah.
Populist, I chose the man who is trying to defend this Republican who's gone through hell. Donald Trump has won the 2016 election.
Not
whether they end up stealing it from him or whether he gets into office, it doesn't matter.
That's
Trump has promoted nationalism. Trump has exposed globalism. He has exposed the whole crony capitalist system. He is
a crony capitalist.
Yeah.
That's his business model.
Pretty much.
That not pretty much.
Well,
that's what he says it is. Donald Trump says, I give money to everybody. That's fucking crony capitalism. I give money to everybody. I give money to all the politicians to meet the ends of my goal.
And then when I need help, then they're there for me. Yeah.
That is crony capitalism. That is fucking Donald Trump to a T.
Shown how unfair deals have been made. And if you thought the Liberty Movement with Barry Goldwater 50 years ago was powerful.
Did he say the Liberty Bibbit?
Yeah. I was like, Liberty. I thought he was talking about Liberty Bell. Then he was like, oh,
you see the Liberty Bibbit.
But with Barry Goldwater 50 years ago was powerful, or Ron Paul 10 years ago, or now Donald Trump. It is an exponential growth curve going straight up. Bottom line, Trump is a godsend, an imperfect messenger of God, but nevertheless, a King David of our time.
Trump is rebranding his entire brand. They're not even going to name hotels Trump anymore.
Because his name has no value anymore.
He has no value whatsoever. What's that new name they have for?
I'd seen it as like Scion or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah,
because when I heard it, I'm like, isn't that a car?
Can we discuss for a moment,
please,
the logical inconsistency demonstrated by somebody who says that a perfect God selects an imperfect messenger?
Well,
that's not possible. That is not logically consistent. A perfect being cannot be anything but perfect.
Yeah.
They cannot choose anything other than perfection. Either your God is flawed or doesn't exist, which is what I would argue, or you should stop saying bullshit like my perfect God provides imperfect messengers.
Yeah.
So wait a minute, what was the exact quote? Because I mean, one could argue that what's being said is that God is choosing the most perfect messenger available, and that humanity, there is no perfect human to choose from, and Trump's the most perfect.
God creates all the humans, though, right?
Well, there is that. So he could create
a perfect human.
But if he created a perfect human, that human would then be God. So he can't create a perfect human. We are all born in sin.
And you've just exposed the logical inconsistencies with their religious views, right?
But to even argue that Trump is the most perfect, even flawed, is the most perfect amongst us is just idiotic.
But
I mean, the court cases we're about to go into on teen rape and
fraud
and all the other.
And bragging about sexual assault.
Yeah.
And
apparently
lying,
God is all into sexually assaulting women.
Lying 73% of the time.
Yep.
And we're all less than Trump.
I know, that's...
No. No. That's fucking bullshit. So, well, here's the actual quote. Let's see.
Yeah.
You thought the liberty movement with Barry Goldwater 50 years ago was powerful.
Yeah, he did say bibbit. I don't know what a bibbit is.
It is an exponential growth curve going straight up. Bottom line, Trump is a godsend, an imperfect messenger of God, but nevertheless, a King David of our time.
An imperfect messenger, but nevertheless.
God could not have selected a more perfect, yet still imperfect messenger.
If God was actually backing a candidate, wouldn't you expect that candidate would be leading in the polls 80 to 20 at least?
There's that too.
If God had picked somebody as his official representative here on earth to lead God's nation of America, that person would be fucking destroying their opponent in the polls.
Well, here's the issue right now with God and picking the candidate. It's football season. He is working way too hard trying to figure out which team's going to win.
Well,
Raiders.
And the Cubs. I mean, we've got the World Series. We're in the middle of the World Series. Right?
We're going to Game 6. Yeah. God has to make it go to Game 7 to make it interesting.
He's got a lot on his plate.
He does.
Is Game 6 tonight?
Game 5 was last night. Now they got to go to Cleveland.
So Game 6 will be tomorrow.
Yeah. So is it 4-3?
No, then it would be over.
I'm sorry, 3-2.
It's 3-2.
It's 3-2 right now. 3-2 for the Braves right now.
For the Braves.
Yeah.
But they're coming. No, they're going to
Cleveland now.
Yeah.
They're done in Chicago, so now they're going to Cleveland. So they got a 1-day break with travel. So they'll be playing Cleveland tomorrow. And that's going to be really hard. So I actually wonder if the Cubs pull it out and win the next 2 games, because they have to win the next 2 games to win.
Nate Silver has Cleveland winning.
I think Cleveland's going to win too. But if the Cubs could pull it off and win a World Series on the road, that'd be pretty astonishing.
Yeah,
it would fit into the bizarro universe we now find ourselves in.
Over 100 years, right?
Yeah, huh?
Yeah. And they'd have to win it with a 3-game winning streak.
Has that not happened?
I don't know, but I've heard it's very hard to come back from that in baseball.
Yeah. I think in anything, really.
Like a lot of times, it's like you win one, we win one, you win one, we win one. It's like Cleveland will be 1 game away for 4 games straight.
So World Series is 7 games, right?
7 games.
7 games. Okay.
It's first to 4. Well, it's first to 4.
Best of 7.
Best of 7.
Yeah, best of 7.
That's how much I watch the sports ball.
I only watch.
I pay attention. I'm big on this just because a bunch of my friends are big Cubs fans.
I only watch baseball during the World Series. I don't watch during the regular season because there's.
Same here.
I'm like I don't get behind all the math of the regular season.
I watch the Super Bowl, but I don't watch football.
That's the funny thing is I don't watch the Super Bowl.
I play March Madness, but I don't watch the Super Bowl. I watch the commercials and then I kind of have the Super Bowl on in the background.
I'll watch
while I'm eating chicken wings and trying to hit on my friend's sister. Never mind.
Well.
I'll play March Madness, although I won't fucking know what I'm putting in. So I'll use like the Fibonacci sequence to help me choose numbers for March Madness because I have no fucking idea what I'm doing.
You know that sequence proves God.
Well, and that's why you use it.
Oh, okay.
And the Fibonacci.
I do fairly well in March Madness using the Fibonacci sequence.
It should be called the God sequence because it proves God. People are fucking stupid.
How does it prove God? Is this something you've actually heard somewhere?
Yeah.
That the Fibonacci sequence proves God?
Yeah. Because Fibonacci sequence can be found so much in nature.
And that's why, and like seashells and like plant life and everything. They're like, so that's
tool
perfect
butterflies.
Tool song. It's in a Tool song.
So they're like, that's created. God created that. So God created the Fibonacci sequence.
I see.
So the Fibonacci as a rule to define the universe.
Yeah. So
I'm not saying I agree.
Ipso facto whoop-de-dee fucking doo-doo.
I just think it's a cool sequence.
It is. It's
a
very
cool
interesting.
from a mathematical standpoint. It's kind of a cool sequence. It's something
Matt
I
would
use.
say that's a bunch of didgeridoo.
But I always like that. I've always found that poster really interesting where it shows the seashell with the Fibonacci sequence laid over top of it.
Yeah.
Showing how equal it is for the shit going around and stuff.
And all
it
that
just looks cool.
All that proves is that the
growth rate is.
It doesn't prove anything, but it illustrates possibly that there's something in that organization, in that structure, that nature inherently and
finds as the most beneficial.
And so you find it in so many things, in seashells and butterflies.
Because it
and
works.
Flowers. Because it works. That structure works.
All the other structures are gone because they didn't fucking work.
Because they didn't fucking work. That's all it really proves. And it doesn't necessarily prove it, per se.
Even like DNA models of our structure and stuff, I'm like, it looks neat. It looks cool. Doesn't mean God did it. It's fucking cool. It's what
means that's what
worked. Yeah, that's the best way that these things found to bond together.
Please stand by. The Godless Revolution will continue in a moment.
Alex has this point, and it's an important one. I would have, say, 10 years ago said, listen to all this stuff. He believes that people put cancer virus in vaccine in order to create a eugenics program. That's what he believes.
We talk about medical discoveries.
And we would have said, and I would have said, hey, that's kind of mad and so on. And it's an interesting psychological phenomenon.
Like Tuskegee, like
the problem is that conspiracy theories like this are believed in.
Hey, listen, I'm here to warn people. You keep telling me to shut up. This isn't a game. Okay, our government in the U.S. is building FEMA camps. We have an NDAA where they disappear people now. You have this arrest for public safety, life in prison.
You are the worst person I've ever interviewed.
No, it's basically off with their heads, disappear
David,
them,
thank
take
you
them
for
away.
being with us.
Infowars.com.
It's gone 11:30. You're watching the Sunday Politics. We have an idiot in the program today. Coming up in just 20 minutes.
You will not stop the Republic. Humanity is awakening. Infowars.com. No. You guys are crazy.
I'll be looking at the week ahead with our political panel. Until then, the Sunday Politics across the UK.
You and the Godless Rebelution will be reassimilated in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so the next story I want to do...
Klingenshit.
Comes to us from Gordon Klingenshit. We haven't heard from him for a little while.
It's been about a month, probably.
Chaplain.
Of course, he's talking about gay stuff.
He's all consumed with the gay stuff.
He is.
Methinks he doth protest too much.
NBC News reports that in an effort to begin the process of rectifying health-related issues that disproportionately affect the homosexual community, some call it the LGBTQ community, the National Institutes of Health, NIH, announced last Thursday that they will formally designate sexual and gender minorities, SGMs.
SGMs.
It sounds like he wants to vomit in his mouth just saying the word sexual. Sexual gender minorities.
I have never heard of that acronym before.
Either.
SGMs?
I had
now
not
all
heard
of a sudden they're... Okay.
SGMs, as a health disparity population for NIH research. I mean, they're segmenting out for study an entire group of people who behave a certain way that has corresponded now to a decline in their health. Could it be that their behavior and their health are connected?
Yes.
The federal government's going to study this. Oh my gosh. As if we already didn't know. But now, this man, Eliseo Perez Stable, a medical doctor who is the director of the NIH and Minority Health and Health Disparities, he said in a statement, quote, mounting evidence indicates that SGM, or sexual and gender minorities, the gay crowd, those populations have less access to health care and higher burdens of certain diseases such as depression, cancer, and HIV/AIDS.
Because they are refused medical attention because they're gay?
And higher rates of depression because of people like this fucking clown who's talking about them right now?
It's not being gay that makes them depressed.
No, it's the treatment from people like this fucking asshole.
AIDS. But the extent and causes of health disparities are not fully understood, and research on how to close these gaps is lacking. This designation marks an important and necessary step in realizing NIH's mission to advance the health of all Americans, end quote. Just an aside, I always worry a little bit when they say these people are underserved, because what that means is they're going to start pouring out more government handouts.
Oh.
Yeah, fuck taking care of people who need help.
Or giving them equal access to help.
Clearly, that's not what
get.
Jesus would have wanted, is to help those who are less fortunate, right?
No. Fuck the lepers and prostitutes.
And the meek.
Yeah.
They're not, the meek inheriting the earth? Bullshit. Fuck that noise.
Unless they have major medical.
Yeah. If they pay their premiums, they're good to go.
To people who behave a certain way. So now they're going to get bonus pay to treat the diseases which they bring on due to their behavior.
No.
The way Jesus did?
Bonus pay?
In these things that they, like depression and cancer, you don't get depression and cancer just because you're gay.
Mm-mm.
That's not like, oh, that's a gay disease. He's got cancer? Oh, you know what that means? He's gay.
Well, fuck, when HIV and AIDS was first running rampant throughout the U.S., it was called the gay plague or the gay cancer.
Yeah.
Because nobody knew what it was.
Your taxpayer dollars at work, I can see that coming soon.
Actually, the NIH isn't entirely taxpayer funded, is it?
The NIH? I don't know. National Institute of Health, I would imagine that it is.
I thought they got, it was like a mix.
Some private funding also?
A mix of private, public
It could
funding.
be.
Could be. I don't know. I do not know.
I don't know.
But either way, it still doesn't change the message of...
No, it doesn't. That would just
certainly these people who don't have these services and need them should get them.
Yeah.
And if there's a way to provide them, then we should do that as decent fucking human beings who care about other human beings.
Single payer healthcare system, you get it no matter what the fuck.
It would be interesting. So, I mean, he was giving these quotes from this NIH guy. I would love to read where he got the quote from.
Yeah.
And just see how out of context he took those statements.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because, it could have been a 15-page report, and he's taking 3 sentences out of that 15-page report.
Yeah, if this was the kind of show where we did some actual research and homework before.
And I'm not trying to turn the show into, like, fact check.
Yeah, we're not Matt.
The godless fact check here. But, no, I don't. The first thing I do whenever anyone posts a meme or something like that with a quote like that, one of the first things I do is I go
find the source.
I find the source first to find out if they even got the quote correct.
Yeah.
Because if it's got a picture of Abraham Lincoln, half the time it's wrong.
Yeah.
So,
well, Abraham Lincoln himself said that most memes on the internet are bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. 73% of.
He had AOL.
But then to look at the entire context of the quote too. So, but that's just my own anal retentive personality.
No, I do that
about that.
Generally speaking.
Yeah.
If it comes from somebody who I know generally does the same thing I do, then sometimes I'll let it slide, and it's bitten me a couple times, but usually
I've gotten nailed reposting something that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes later, I think, I'll fact check that. Snopes.com has an article or something like that. I'm like, oh, shit.
I got you.
They got me.
God damn it.
I think it's where sometimes everybody's bias comes into account, where you see something, you're like, oh, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you post it out and you go, well, maybe I should look into it a little more. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's not true.
Yeah, I've gotten nailed.
So we went from...
are we back on Jim Baker?
Well, but this is cool, right? So this is contrasting. These are competing religious narratives right now.
He's our St. Peter.
So we go from
Before
Alex
King
Jones
David.
saying he's King David.
King David.
Jim Baker says, no. He's our St. Peter.
Who's saying he's our Jesus?
Donald Trump. Seriously, didn't you see those clips of him comparing himself to Jesus, saying that he was a carpenter for his father for a little while, and that he's the only one who will suffer the slings and arrows for the people? I was like, I'm watching it and my jaw was on the floor like, he's comparing himself to Jesus Christ right now. And the evangelicals don't have a problem with this. They're all still going to back him after he says this fucking shit.
Yep.
Well, this is Jim Baker.
Okay. This should be fun.
Jim Baker, the Slop Bucket King, competing with Alex Jones as far as which biblical character Donald Trump best represents.
Yeah.
If you understand Jesus, Jesus always, he picked the foolish things. He picked the
as he's holding up his books.
Seem to have the wisdom. He picked, and Peter, and I compare it. I take, is about Peter. I talk about David in here a little bit too, but I talk about Peter as, he calls Jesus calls him from this boat. They're out fishing. And they, in the Bible says, he didn't hesitate. Just like Trump would. Trump would have jumped out of the boat.
If there was a pussy to grab, he would have grabbed it.
And he just immediately, he said, yes, I'll go with you.
Right.
And then we see Peter cutting a guy's ear off. We see Peter, cursing and swearing, saying,
just, as any great biblical character would be doing, cutting people's ears off and swearing.
I don't even know Jesus. I mean, that's the most awful thing you could do is deny Jesus Christ.
Oh, is that?
But what is
Okay, I hereby deny Jesus Christ.
I raise both of my hands in
Same
there
here.
as well.
I'll raise all three of mine.
I deny Jesus Christ. I deny the Holy Spirit.
It's all fuckery. You know what I think the worst thing to do? Kick a fucking puppy.
That's worse. Much worse.
Much worse.
That's worse.
That's way worse.
I would harm you for kicking a puppy.
I would kick you while denying Jesus if you kicked a puppy.
Then we see him preaching the first day of the church, the day of Pentecost, preaching, 3,000 people get saved. This swearing heathen.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he followed Jesus.
That's right.
He became a disciple of Jesus Christ, an apprentice of Jesus Christ. He literally learned it all by walking with the Savior.
Right.
And he preached the most magnificent sermon, quoting from Old Testament.
Jesus. That was a great impression.
Remember when I said we need that Muppet to do the vein counting? He is the Muppet.
He really does.
He
looks like Ernie, doesn't he?
If we did video for this, I would want to have a Jim Baker puppet.
It would be easy to put together.
Yeah.
We'd be making furniture out of his slop buckets.
We just have Jim Baker over here,
Actually, that's what it would be. He'd be like the garbage guy off the Sesame Street. Oscar. But he'd become one of the slop buckets.
Old Testament and literally taking knowledge and they were saying, well, these are unlearned and what ignorant men.
Mm-hmm. They're drunk. Yes.
And then they accused him of being drunk.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, Jesus chose a businessman to give him governmental keys to restore the kingdom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus is putting his hand on a Peter right now, like you're just saying. It's a businessman.
He's putting his hand on a Peter?
Trump is the businessman with the keys of the kingdom right now to wreck what hell has been doing over the United States.
Oh.
And this book and these videos of this message from Dr. Wallnow will bless you. I mean,
Doctor of what?
You can buy my slop buckets, and while you're shitting your guts out, watch these videos and read these books while you're sitting on the toilet, shitting your fucking guts out from eating my slop buckets.
And since we know you live in a trailer, if you're buying these DVDs and videos and the slop buckets, we know you can see your fucking TV from the shitter.
It's going to be amazing. And we put together a baker's dozen of God's chaos candidate, Donald J. Trump, and the America.
His baker's dozen has 12.
I'd love for you to order a baker's dozen.
Yes.
And just pass pass them out before the election.
Oh.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So you just want more money.
Be a good person. Buy 12 of my books. Buy 13.
Yeah.
And
13 for the price of 12.
Friends, you want to be able
And
to
pass
share.
them out.
You that are going to vote for Trump, you need to give this to those people saying, well, never Trump. You know, well, I'll tell you what. America's got one last chance.
You said that last time.
You don't understand. I'm telling you, there is a shaking coming.
Oh,
and that
they're
shaking,
called earthquakes.
I believe it's going to bring the greatest revival. Things are going to happen. And God wants to give us
Things
someone
are going to happen
who has enough sense to manage this country in chaos.
You know why aliens haven't talked to us yet? You fucking Jim Baker.
You know what they never give is a timeline.
No.
They never tell you a timeline. This is our last chance. If Donald Trump isn't elected, this is our last chance. Okay, so give me a timeline. How long before shit starts to slide into oblivion? Yeah. How long before the country is utterly destroyed? Tell me that, motherfucker. Don't tell me that this is our last chance, because you say that every fucking election that you lose.
Well, and they learned the lesson from the fucking the all the other apocalypse people
from the Heaven's Gate cult,
the Heaven's Gate, from just all the others who set specific deadlines that come and go.
Yeah, that guy that passed away this past year that was always doing the deadlines.
Harold Camping.
Yeah,
Camping. And he set his deadline. And then
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Jehovah's. And then his deadline came and went in. Oh, it was a spiritual.
Yeah.
It wasn't a real, it was a spiritual. And the real one comes next year. And so no, they're smart enough to learn the lesson from those.
Well, that's like when we had Joanne Hanks on.
I was just thinking, like, that's the best example right there.
When she wrote her book about living in the polygamist cult, and saying that when the time came for the destruction of the earth, the cult leader told them that, it really happened, but then God folded time back.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
so that you don't really know.
So all the dead bodies and
we were all judged.
Yeah.
The earth ended, heaven came,
all the food
the apocalypse, all of that actually happened, and then God folded time back.
And we don't remember it because Superman reversed time.
Yes.
He spun around the world.
Yeah.
Oh, is this
That's what the cult leader said.
It was fucking.
In order to excuse away that the apocalypse and the second coming of Christ didn't happen that anybody could actually remember.
That was one of the spots in the book that I highlighted because I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy.
Is this what an aneurysm feels like? I swear to God. So this Baker guy. So Baker is comparing Trump to St. Peter. What's his name before was comparing him to
David. King David.
Trump himself compares himself to Jesus. I wish I had time. I mean, there's fucking 8 days left. I don't have time. I'm pretty sure I could go through every fucking biblical figure in the Bible.
Oh yeah,
and come up with some analogy. Moses leading people, leading all the racists out of darkness into the promised land.
Well, you probably don't have to do it. Someone probably already did it for you. There's probably people on the internet that have already compared him to all these fucks.
Some comedian who's done that, but. Yeah, I mean, I could think of like a Moses analogy to Trump, leading all the racists and the bigots and the, all those people
off a cliff would be good.
Out of the darkness, out of the closets that we've buried them in, and now they're free to, come into the promised land.
And
free to say all of the racist, hateful things that have been rolling around in their tiny brains.
That society has squashed out of them because
where now it's acceptable.
I can't go anywhere and call somebody nigger these days without people looking down on me. What kind of bullshit is that?
Yeah, the other day I was sitting outside of an abortion clinic, holding up a sign with some aborted fetus eyes on it. And these women were looking at me like I was doing something wrong.
You would have thought that I went to where they was going to have an abortion and told them that they were really evil people for doing it.
I was just trying to save them.
From hellfire.
From hellfire and all damnations.
And to save that innocent little baby that's growing inside their tummies.
I even planted a bomb in one of the doctor's trucks, but my wiring was bad.
The stork done did all that work delivering the baby over to the mama's belly, and now she's just gonna get rid of it. I mean, those storks, they don't come cheap, and they do their work for the Lord every day.
I got Luann over there. She's got 15 of these little fuckers running around now, and I ain't never even poked her. She's had immaculate conceptualized 15 times.
And you know they're immaculate because none of them even look anything like me.
No, we got a few of the dark ones, a few of the light ones, some shades in between.
She always has these gentleman callers coming over to take care of things and help her with things around the house.
I tend to look at my family like Neapolitan ice cream.
They all seem to be plumbers wanting to check her undercarriage and clean out her pipes and something. I don't know.
Last week, I got underneath that there house to look for a raccoon that got loose and was fucking with some of the wiring, and my TV was out because I've been stealing from my neighbor, and I don't know what the fuck was up with that. But anyways, I checked the plumbing when I was under there, and it didn't look like anybody's been down there cleaning any of that plumbing lately.
And she says that she's helping them clean out every pipe they got.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there.
I think she needs to get a refund.
I think she's being taken for a ride.
Yeah. But good news.
Literally.
But she's been smiling a whole lot.
True. But we've even got more good news. Luann's expecting number 16 of the Immaculate Conception here next month.
We call them the 16 G's eye.
We're so going to hell.
If there was a heaven and a hell,
no fucking hell.
If there was, I would much rather go to hell. Because
I would rather go to hell.
I think the Christian narrative of a heaven is in itself a separate type of hell.
Yeah.
One of abject subjugation where you do nothing but worship a deity who commits horrific acts or allows horrific acts to happen all the time, many of them in his own name, and you spend the rest of eternity worshiping at this being's feet. That sounds like hell to me.
Well, and even beyond that, I mean, and I would agree with that. But even beyond that, I mean, my kids, I love my kids. I adore my daughters. They're wonderful. Spending eternity with them, that would be fucking hell. That would be hell for them too. They don't want to hang around me. They don't want to be around me for eternity, and I don't want to be around, distance. They're grown. We need some space.
Well, I told Ryan a few episodes ago, it's hard to miss you when you never leave, right? When you're always here.
I mean, there are a whole shitload of family members that I don't really want to hang out with anymore.
And how does that work anyway? Like, if you go to heaven and you want to spend time with a certain group of people, does that mean they have to spend time with you, or can they choose to spend time with the people that they want to spend time with?
No.
And what about the people above them who they want to spend time with?
Well, and I'm adopted. Who the fuck do I hang out with? My adopted family or my bio family? Well, how does that factor into things?
Yeah.
It's so interesting to me how faux mystified everybody is at Donald Trump's rise, his ascension. And it's no mystery to me. There's no mystery at all. I mean, at least 25% of this country has always been ignorant, racist, xenophobes who are easily appealed to on an emotional level. That's it. That's always been the case. They didn't just pop up.
I'm pretty sure Negan's God.
Negan, have you guys? You don't watch The Walking Dead, do you, Grant?
Oh yeah.
Oh, do you?
Oh yeah.
Have you watched both
Episode
episodes of this season?
I've seen the first episode.
So you didn't watch last night's yet?
I haven't watched last night's yet.
Okay. Yeah.
The first episode was fucking bullshit.
Oh my God, it was brutal.
Jesus Christ.
I don't want to throw any spoilers out there, but
no spoilers. But
holy
fucking
shit!
Hell. When I read an article a few weeks before saying that they have a lot of liberty because the origins of The Walking Dead are such that they would do things like that in the story, so they had a lot of liberty to kind of do things. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. And then they fucking, oh my God. Yeah. That was fucking brutal. So no, I haven't seen last night yet.
Yeah, Tracy was shaken.
But he was
shaken and shaking by the end of that.
He was fucking effective, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the way what's his name?
Negan.
The way Negan reprogrammed what's his name?
Yeah.
I'm bad with names, so
that's okay because it would be a spoiler.
But yeah, the way he reprogrammed him, shit.
Yeah.
It just
It was disturbing.
Yeah.
So we have time for a couple more things.
Well, we have time for about one more. We've got I'm keeping an eye on the clock.
Okay. So we've got a couple from Lance Wallnow, a couple from Kellyanne Conway.
Oh, Kellyanne.
Let's do Kellyanne. We haven't gotten to her at all yet.
She's so funny.
And then we have a positive thing that we could end on with just 11 more days. Here are 7 things that will make you smile after Trump loses this god-awful election.
Let's do that. Let's smile at the end.
You want to do that?
Let's smile.
Well, can we do? I want to do at least one Kellyanne.
Okay, we can do one.
Okay, so we have 2 different ones. We have Kellyanne Conway, Donald Trump is persecuted by the media. Or Kellyanne Conway scoffs at Trump child rape case.
That's the one I was talking about earlier.
Next, you're going to ask about his taxes.
Yes, that was the one I mentioned earlier.
Should we do this one?
Sure.
Okay. This one sounds fun.
And I said this before the show. If any of you or if anyone listening, if you're ever running for office, if you need a campaign, you should hire Kellyanne Conway. I mean, the woman is a fucking genius.
She's super effective at doing a job protecting an awful person.
She is what she says is awful. She is an awful person. She's representing an awful person, but she's doing it really fucking well.
She does a great job of protecting an awful person.
The way she can say the shit she says with a straight face and the illogical connection she makes is just amazing.
She'd be a good defense attorney for a murderer.
I would love to know what her paycheck is.
Oh,
I would love to know how much she's being paid to sell her soul.
If she's
like this, because she can't believe this.
That's got to be part of his FEC filings, right?
Well, if he ever releases any of his taxes, but if she's getting paid like everyone else on his campaign, it's $0.
Well, yeah. There was an article today, like some of his campaign people. He owes them $700,000.
He hasn't paid anybody yet.
I don't know how anyone does business with Trump and doesn't get paid up front.
His reputation has to be known.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen too many stories of him not paying people left and right that I would never do business with Trump without being paid up front.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That would be part of my contract. Like, I will do the work, but you're paying me up front.
I'll do like 2 weeks of work, and if you don't pay me for this 2 weeks, I'm gone.
I wouldn't do any work until I was paid.
Yeah.
Because that's still 2 weeks that I would put into something that I could have been doing something else and getting paid for.
Yeah.
And then he may skate off with and get somebody else to come and work another 2 weeks and not pay them.
Yeah.
And just build his empire 2 weeks at a time that way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like H.H. Holmes.
I would love to know what her paycheck is. And yeah, she's definitely amazing at her job.
I think that's got to be part of his FEC filing.
I should look that up.
Yeah. That would be interesting to know. So anyway, this comes to us from Raw Story. It says the Kellyanne Conway scoffs at Trump child rape case, quote, next you're going to ask about his taxes. Trump campaign manager Kellyanne Conway declined on Monday to address how a lawsuit accusing Donald Trump of raping a child would impact his presidency. During an interview on CNBC, Conway accused Hillary Clinton's campaign of being, quote, sneaky, end quote, by asking the FBI to release more information about emails that were found on longtime aide Huma Abedin's computer. Quote, just ask Huma what's on there. Just ask Anthony Weiner what's on there, she insisted. They are now trying to politicize the FBI. According to Conway, Clinton was encouraging her supporters to boo FBI Director James Comey. Quote, it's a very dangerous precedent to have somebody that was Secretary of State, First Lady, U.S. Senator, wants to be President of the United States and be Commander-in-Chief, encouraging people to boo, she opined. Has she never, ever seen a Donald Trump rally?
No.
Oh, my God. Donald Trump encourages people to boo the media who are there giving him airtime.
Donald
for
Trump.
Christ's sake.
Donald Trump kicks out his own supporters.
Yeah,
he kicked out a black supporter from his own rally
because he was black. and
Because
so
he was fucking black,
and so he figured that he couldn't possibly be a Donald Trump supporter.
Well, it was a KKK only invite.
Hey, I imagine.
Well, it was South Carolina. So.
I imagine Donald Trump standing behind his podium on stage, looking out into the crowd and going, "Who let the burned one in here?
Oh,
get him out! Get him out!"
And this guy's been a supporter of Trump for decades. He sent him a condolence letter back like decades ago when he divorced what's her name? Not before Molly Maple, Ivana.
Yeah.
When he divorced Ivana, he sent Trump a condolence letter, and Trump wrote him back.
Thank you. You're so gracious. I really appreciate hearing from you, Turkey.
But I'll grab another pussy tomorrow. I'm good.
And he's still voting for Trump.
Thank you for the letter, Al Jolson. I greatly appreciate your support. It's fucking nonsense. Let's.
You were saying,
I'm gonna cut straight to the. I'm gonna cut straight to the clip here.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
She kind of looks like a horse.
I wasn't. That's.
And now I feel bad because now I feel like Donald Trump.
I was just trying to use one of those idioms, and you went all
Trumpy on you.
Yeah.
I went Trumpy on you. You're welcome.
I want to talk about the emails for a second and just try to understand this. Would you prefer that Comey or the FBI release information as it goes in real time? Or, I mean, I'm assuming that you benefit to some degree by everyone not knowing exactly what's in the emails, but it's very possible that when we find out the emails are going to be either good or bad. What do you think is the right thing to happen?
To us, the right thing to do is whatever the FBI thinks the investigation is taking, wherever the investigation is taking them. I mean, it's not for us to say speed it up because of the election or slow it down because of the election. I think had he sat on this explosive information, he could very well have affected the election.
They sat on it for a couple of weeks.
Well, they did sit on it, it turns out, and the DOJ may be in hot water here. But look, I want the FBI to do what it always does in its investigations, which is take the time, release things as you think it's pertinent. But I think the Clinton people are doing two sneaky things here. One is they're asking for information they know they're not going to get in the next 6 to 8 days.
How is that sneaky? How is it sneaky to ask for them to release information?
Yeah, like, am I under investigation or am I not under investigation?
You're investigating me. What have you found out? Please fucking let me know.
And that's sneaky?
Yeah. It's like, sir, you're arrested. Well, for what? Well, we'll wait and tell you later.
You did a little Chewbacca gurgle there.
No, I can't do it. I had some phlegm in the back of my throat in just the right spot.
Thanks for sharing.
Well, that's the only way you can make that gurgle noise.
So earlier, Grant, you were saying that Kellyanne Conway does a great job of representing Donald Trump, representing awful people in a great way.
Yeah.
I know that she really made Rachel Maddow very angry because during an interview with Rachel Maddow when she first joined the campaign, after Steve Bannon and Roger Ailes were linked to the campaign, Rachel Maddow had Kellyanne Conway on there and asked her specifically, Donald Trump is, accused of being a sexist and a womanizer. And this was before the Billy Bush
right
tape
before
came out.
Pussygate.
Yeah, before Pussygate. Donald Trump is accused of being a womanizer and being sexist and a misogynist. And Roger Ailes recently left Fox News because of the accusations of things that he did to Gretchen Carlson and all of these sexual
misconduct
and predatory interactions that he had with female staffers at Fox News. And now I'm hearing that he's part of the Donald Trump campaign, either in an official or unofficial capacity as an advisor. Can you confirm or deny any of this? And Kellyanne Conway said flatly no. Roger Ailes is not part of the campaign. He never has been. As far as I know, he never will be. Blah, blah, blah. I can confirm to you now and tell you that absolutely in no way is Roger Ailes part of this campaign. And then we find out that, yes, indeed, Roger Ailes is part of the campaign.
And I don't deny that, Kellyanne.
So she represents people really well, but she does it by lying.
She lies. Yes, she lies to her teeth. She twists the truth. She uses the most god-awful logic. she will make a point about one thing. Oh, what was it? Just a couple of weeks ago, she made a point about one thing about being that you don't settle cases unless you're guilty.
Oh,
so she was talking about Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton settled all these cases against these women.
Donald Trump has settled a slew of cases.
You don't settle cases and pay I wouldn't pay $800,000 if I'm innocent, and all that. And what's his name from Meet the Press turned that around and said Chuck Todd.
Yeah.
Turned that around and said, well, but, Trump has settled cases for decades, dating back to the racist,
discrimination at his apartment complex.
With his dad. So can we infer then that he's guilty of all those things that he settled? And the way she deftly, it was a little uncomfortable for a moment, but she definitely kind of spun that logic around and spun that logic. She's good. She lies through her teeth. Yes, I don't disagree.
She's a horrible person, to be sure.
She's horrible, but she's really good at being horrible.
Yeah, she's very, very effective at being a horrible person.
But it's effective against the fucking uninformed, ill-informed, uneducated voters who don't bother to pay attention. Who just hear the shit that she says, and they like, oh yeah, she makes a lot of sense. And they don't bother following up on any of this shit. That's why she's so effective at her job.
Yeah, I think she's a pretty terrible human being.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely agree.
All right, let's continue the video.
In the next 6 to 8 days.
They could ask Huma. She could give Huma the go-ahead.
Yesterday, all over the Sunday shows, Hillary Clinton is holding all the cards here. She can call Huma. I can call Huma.
Really?
But I doubt she'll take my call. You can just ask Huma what's on there. You can ask Anthony Weiner what's on there. But secondly, and most importantly, they are now trying to politicize the FBI. I saw Hillary Clinton at one of her rallies yesterday encouraging the booze.
Comey is politicizing the FBI.
What's that?
Yeah. Comey is politicizing the FBI.
Yeah, he acted.
He did it himself.
He acted outside of FBI policy against the advisement of his boss.
Possibly illegally. Maybe.
Maybe a violation of the Hatch Act.
Hatch Act. But if nothing, I give him, I'm a little sympathetic because he's stuck between a rock and a hard place.
He is like, I do not envy his position at all.
Either he does this now or he didn't do it now and it came out after the election that, 2 weeks ago we had these email things.
And then he's accused of hiding it.
And then he's accused of hiding it and then the Republicans are.
Yeah, I don't envy that poor fucker's position at all.
But that being said, he is definitely politicizing it because the FBI has an open investigation about Trump and his connection to Russia.
And Paul Manafort, yeah.
And his connections with Russia, which he hasn't released anything about. He doesn't release anything about that. The email thing,
he releases the email stuff. Yeah.
He releases just without even having any information. But the Trump-Russia connection and their investigation of that, they don't release anything.
I also read an article, and it came through Snopes, about Trump deleting his emails and destroying servers.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That were stuff that were supposed to be collected against cases against him for the fraud stuff and everything else. That he's been doing the same thing. He's been destroying his emails and servers and paper trail to basically say, nope, you can't get the evidence. Sorry, gone.
So, and on top of that, I mean, Comey didn't bring charges against Hillary for, last summer with the investigation, but in the same breath, when he says, I'm not bringing charges, he spends 10, 15 minutes, talking about what a horrible person Hillary is.
Yeah.
Which again is against standard. DAs don't usually do that. They don't say, I'm not bringing murder charges against John Smith, but
he's a horrible father.
He's a horrible person. X, Y, and Z did this, but we just can't prove it, so we're not bringing charges.
The job is not to defame a person; it's to be like, okay, we investigated it and we couldn't find any.
Just the facts, man.
Yeah.
So I don't envy him because he's going to get nailed one way or the other, but he is clearly being partisan in his approach to all of this.
It sure looks like he is.
So,
like you said, I mean, not talking about anything with the Russian investigation and Trump. But.
Yeah. And the reality is it's never going to end.
Yeah.
Because if Hillary wins, Comey loses his job because not because Hillary won, but because
he's in a tenured position. She can't remove him.
But he can be removed if he violated the Hatch Act.
Yeah, true. Okay.
If he violated the Hatch Act, he can be removed. So if he is removed because of that, then Republicans are going to be up in arms because they're going to say, "Oh, well, it's political retribution for what he did against Hillary and all that." Or if he's not removed, then Hillary has to work with an FBI director who
is
has
against her.
Blatantly partisan bias against her.
Yeah.
So she might even just disregard anything he has to say and go to his second or third and just kind of, push him out of the loop altogether.
Yeah.
Which is going to make him totally ineffective, which is going to raise the ire of the Republicans as well. I mean, this shit's never going to end. Every single step is politicized these days. Everything.
Mm-hmm. All right. More of the video.
Encouraging the boos for Jim Comey. Not only is that a complete about-face, but it's a very dangerous precedent to have somebody who was Secretary of State, First Lady, U.S. Senator, wants to be President of the United States, and indeed Commander-in-Chief, encouraging people to boo.
It's dangerous to encourage people to boo, but it's not dangerous to question the very foundation of our democracy, which is fair and free elections.
Yeah.
That's not dangerous?
Why
isn't she calling out her fucking candidate for doing that?
And where was Kellyanne when the Republicans were booing Comey last summer for not bringing charges?
Yeah.
Everybody start.
In fairness, your candidate. Your candidate has called for her to go to jail and has suggested that if he wins, he's putting her in jail.
And where are we now? Where are we now? That she's going to be in her second FBI investigation. Most friends you know under one FBI investigation, let alone two.
It's the same one.
It's the same investigation. They didn't even close it.
Investigation. Most friends you know under one FBI investigation, let alone two. Do we think this is normal? I think people have been asking the right questions about the wrong candidate. Who really is unqualified? Who's unfit to be president?
Trump.
Who has shown what they would do with our national security information?
Trump.
Who has shown it's always about her and her petty, peevish political self?
My understanding is that
if Trump was a her, it would be Trump.
Political self.
My understanding is that no matter who wins, either we're going to be dealing with the email issue after this, if she's the president, if Donald Trump is the president, he's got the child rape case that's going to happen that was just given a date.
Come on.
I'm just saying,
you would analogize the two.
I'm just suggesting that.
Analogize the two. She used a private email server. He raped a teenage girl.
That's different.
Or he's accused of it anyway. Yeah, she. Oh my God,
Jesus.
She just basically said
the false equivalency
that being accused of child rape is a lesser offense than deleting emails.
Yes,
Christ Almighty.
That no matter who is in the White House,
and with a smile on her face, the whole time.
Yeah, a dismissive smile and a shake of the head, like, "Oh, please, you've got to be kidding me."
She went to smile school.
Yeah.
I'm just suggesting that no matter who is in the White House, we're going to have legal.
Next, you're going to ask you where his taxes are.
Well, that's a whole separate issue, but we're going to have legal cases on both.
That is such a ridiculous. I'm sorry, I got to jump in. That is such a ridiculous conflation equation, respectfully, Andrew. I mean, that's to talk about, to just throw the rape word in there.
Well, that's what it is.
When we've got 650,000 emails based on an active investigation of Huma Abedin's pedophilia husband, because she's texting.
What has that got to do with Hillary?
Who isn't fucking Hillary?
Did Hillary introduce the children to Wiener?
That sounds weird.
Is she the pimp?
Kellyanne Conway just said that Donald Trump being accused of child rape is
irrelevant.
Not even irrelevant, but that it's disgusting that this reporter would even mention that. And then she mentions Anthony Weiner. Who is not running for president.
Nope.
Nor has he even been accused of teenage rape.
Just sending photographs to an underage.
Sexting.
Yeah.
As far as I know, that's the only charge.
Well, sexting, but it was to an underage.
To an underage girl.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, and, if you want to talk about equivalency, I mean, sexing an underage girl, not good. No. But big difference from that to raping a teenager.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
A 15-year-old, 13-year-old, however old she was.
She's a pretty terrible person.
Pictures of himself to some 15-year-old girl in North Carolina. I think that's just ridiculous.
You mentioned.
Jesus Christ.
Whoa. What was that?
That was Keith Olbermann, my hero.
Oh, I love Olbermann.
The closer. I need to watch. I've gotten behind on my watching of the closer episodes.
Honestly, I remember the closer when you post the closer, and then I'm like, oh shit, yeah, Olbermann, the closer. So I watch what you post, and then I catch up.
The next rant will start right after this.
And, it's great to watch, entertaining, too, to watch the Republican Party and the right-wing media try to retroactively undo what they themselves have been creating for the last 35 years, but it's too late. It's too late. That's America's id. It's out of the bottle. They're desperately trying to tamp it back in, like get that thing, but it's out there and it's fucking rampaging all over America. And you can't spend every single day for 7.5 fucking years telling these people that your president is a communist Muslim from Kenya who hates America and wants to destroy it and not expect this to be the result. What the fuck? Of course people are pissed off. Yeah.
This was just announced. I just read it, so I can't confirm it's true, but apparently his campaign has taken away his Twitter. In the last 2 days, they had so little confidence in his self-control, they said, we're just going to take away your Twitter. Now, if somebody can't handle a Twitter account, they can't handle the nuclear codes. If somebody starts tweeting at 3 in the morning because SNL made fun of you, then you can't handle the nuclear codes.
The reason I think so many people like to go to Donald Trump gatherings is because it allows them the opportunity to finally go to a white power rally without all the guilt, And you can say what you want about Donald Trump. Personally, I think he's clantastic. I really do.
Rejoining the Godless Rebelution podcast now.
All right, so the last story of the evening this evening.
Will make us smile.
This evening?
The last story of the evening this evening. No, allow myself to introduce myself. That was a little Austin Powers for you. All right. So we're going to finish with just 11 more days. Here are 7 things that will make you smile after Trump, hopefully, loses this god-awful election. This comes to us from Raw Story.
Yeah.
So it says that by now we at Raw Story's OMG, is this still happening desk? Feel fairly confident in saying that everyone in the country is ready for this election to be over. Like a long, ugly, particularly persistent panic attack, the constant parade of outrages, assaults to common sense, and blatant absurdities have left many Americans feeling psychologically battered, overstimulated, and stuck with a feeling of creeping dread and horror that won't go away. Here is a list of a few things to look forward to that should hopefully help you get through the last awful days before we drive a stake through the heart of the 2016 election and watch it crumble to ashes. Number 7. Pardon me. Getting choked up thinking about it.
What are we going to do?
Fewer surrogates on the TV. As Media Matters' Carlos Maza noted, Trump's army of double-talking campaign surrogates, Kelly Conway, have committed vicious crimes against rational thought, the English language, and the profession of journalism by becoming the TV equivalent of facehugger baby aliens.
I was wondering what that GIF was playing for. Now I get it.
But let's hope that the effect of her is not the birth of an alien.
This is true.
Sprouting out of the midsection of the country.
Yes. Number 6. Goodbye, Tofu Palin. Worthless media sop Jill Stein will return to obscurity for another 4 years and go back to band practice and showing up at other people's birthday parties to demand a share of the presents. No doubt sometime in 2020 she will reemerge, smiling blandly and warning us all about the hidden dangers of supermarket laser scanners contaminating our food.
Those are horrible.
I have every faith that Jill Stein will run, again, as a liberal spoiler against President Hillary Clinton and have another go at selling shiny, substance-free, feel-good eyewash politics to liberals that the way Sarah Palin serves them to the right.
She's the Ron Paul. She's the Paul family of the Green Movement.
Jill Stein bothers me so fucking much, her supporters.
How many times did Ron Paul run?
What bothers me about Jill Stein supporters is that they mean well. They think they're doing good, but they don't know jack shit about what their fucking candidate actually says or stands for, and think that Jill Stein, because she hasn't been vetted for 30 fucking years, if she were vetted for 30 fucking years, would be as squeaky clean as they view her now, and she would not be.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that she has more than a few skeletons in her closet, were she to be vetted for 30 fucking years
no doubt.
as a politician.
I actually
have you seen the music videos?
Oh, I have. I've heard
unfortunately,
about them.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually had a friend,
or even beyond Jill Stein, or that the Green Party in general deserves the seat at the head seat at the table.
Mm-hmm.
When they have no interest at all in governing the country. They don't hold any seats in Congress. They don't hold any seats at the state level, governors, state legislatures, anything like that. They have no interest in, they're like that cocky, arrogant college graduate who graduated BYU with a bachelor's in business and is only applying to be the CEO of a company and will not accept anything less.
Of a Fortune 500
Of a Fortune 500 company. That's what the Green Party is right now. They have even the Libertarian Party, at least they have some interest in governing. They have positions at local, state, and federal levels. The Green Party has no interest in governing other than the presidency, and they disappear every 4 years.
Number 5. People return to not giving two shits about WikiLeaks.
Thank God.
WikiLeaks has played an invaluable role in getting John Podesta's risotto recipe and Land's End recipes out to the world, as well as revealing the hidden hypocrisies and credit card numbers of elite Democratic donors who committed the heinous crime of supporting a Democratic candidate for president. Gasp and clutch pearls.
Don't forget the singer of Blink-182's alien conspiracies. Did you see that?
No, him and John, what the fuck is his name from Korn, the lead singer of Korn? He's a fucking right-wing lunatic conspiracy nut.
Well, I guess one of the guys from Blink-182, I think it was the singer from Blink-182, was emailing Hillary asking her to release the truth about aliens and having alien conversations with her.
Jesus Christ.
I want the truth about Area 51 and our life-extending technologies.
Pretty much.
Beyond that, however, Julian Assange's radically transparent organization has failed to move the U.S. election much one way or the other. Maybe when he gets his internet privileges back from his Ecuadorian hosts, Assange can send out some resumes for temp jobs or IT positions.
That's right.
Even Bill Maher is turning against Assange.
Yeah.
And he was a huge supporter of him. But just on his last show, he was not hugely turning against him, but he was saying Assange has lost his way.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way he phrased it.
Yeah.
That Assange is not living up to what Bill Maher wanted him to be. So
now people always get him and the other guy confused all the time.
Snowden?
Snowden.
Assange? Oh,
Assange and Snowden. I've always been behind Snowden because I think when he did it for the right reasons and tried to control what got leaked. Where Assange was like, I'm just giving you every fucking thing.
I don't agree.
I think it could be argued against Snowden also.
Snowden downloaded a bunch of shit from a hard drive and handed it over to the media. He didn't vet any of it. He just handed it all, and he trusted what's his name from the Guardian,
whichever. Because I know he'd say, "Hey, I had a trusted source that knew not to release certain things." So he was trusting a lot in that person. But
yeah, Glenn Greenwald. No, I don't. Respectfully, I don't agree. I think he was just an opportunist who downloaded a bunch of shit and handed it over to Glenn Greenwald. And Washington Post, I think he handed over to, and trusted them to figure it out. So, which is essentially what Assange did. But that's my interpretation of what happened. I didn't see anywhere where Snowden actually vetted or limited what he handed over. He just handed over the whole thumb drive. But that's my recall.
Yeah.
That's my recall of what happened.
Number 4, the Trump brand is ruined forever.
Yes.
Sensing the SHI parentheses FT, so sensing the shift in the wind. Trump Hotels Inc. CEO Eric Danziger announced last week the new hotels built by the company will not have the word Trump in the name, but will rather be called Scion Hotels. So now I'll know not to stay at Scion Hotels either.
Or to buy one of their cars.
Danziger rightly foresees that in the wake of Donald Trump's hateful, time-wasting, money-hemorrhaging disaster of a losing presidential campaign, the Trump brand is about to become completely toxic around the world. Women are already boycotting Ivanka Trump's clothing line and the stores that sell it. Bookings are down at Trump hotels around the globe. In his grasping, sweaty palmed run at the big brass ring, Donald Trump has made himself into a global punchline. Yay!
Well, his new hotel in D.C. I mean, they're practically
postal, whatever.
They're practically giving away the rooms.
Yeah.
I mean, relative to the other hotels.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I even heard that
their bookings are hugely down at his brand new D.C. hotel.
Are they down big league?
Big league, yeah.
Yeah. And that's the hotel he kept raving about in the debates.
Yeah.
But even his Trump hotel, I heard they had cut back the rates 50% and are still can't even get half booked.
Yeah. So that's wonderful.
That's encouraging.
But he's got a new TV name. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to fail.
We'll get there.
Number 3, no more Donald Jr. and Eric Trump.
Yeah, please.
There's an old Southern saying that I just made up that goes, quote,
I love that.
The little shit never falls far from the big asshole. That could not be clearer when you observe these two slicked-up morons on camera babbling with the slightly wild-eyed, sweaty-faced vehemence of college sophomores with his first ever 8-ball of cocaine all to himself. Like a pair of terranium-raised grubs dressed in matching serial killer haircuts and aggressively tight collars, Eric and Donald Jr. show us that while inherited wealth can make a person spoiled, useless and ridiculous, inherited wealth can make you into a good example of why aliens should reduce the Earth's surface to molten glass. Just kill every living thing and start over in a couple million years.
They really do remind me of what's his name from American Psycho.
Christian Bale?
Yeah, Christian Bale.
Because he did have his hair slicked back, always wearing the suit, and always proper.
Not just the hair, but just the whole demeanor.
Yeah.
Everything about them.
He's better than everyone else.
Yeah. And they're fucking idiots.
The little shit never falls far from the big asshole.
Eric or Trump Jr. does that photo op with Latino who was who was wearing a Latino against Trump
shirt
in Mexican
or Spanish
or in Spanish. Yeah, sorry.
No, it was in Mexican, right? I believe that was the appropriate. I mean, I looked at it. It looked like it was in Mexican to me.
Part of it was in American and part of it was in Mexican.
Texarkana, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, and then he thought, he's like all happy with his wife and all that.
And they were protesters, and everybody loved them.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah, they're fucking morons.
Number 2, hello, Trump TV. A lot of people I know have been wringing their hands about Trump's plan to launch his own network with the help of Breitbart.com CEO Steve Bannon. Allow me to try and put whatever fears you may be harboring to rest. Trump TV is going to be a disaster, a cartwheeling fireball of failure. Everything else that the notoriously feckless businessman with the attention span of a particularly stupid fruit fly has turned his tiny orange hand to has ended up in flames on the side of the road or lodged in bankruptcy court. Equally kooky right-wing howler monkey Glenn Beck is currently watching his glorious dream for a far-right TV network burn down around his ears. It will be fun and exciting to watch Trump TV do the same once the former Apprentice star stops paying his employees and the whole mess devolves into chaos, just like Trump Airlines, Trump Steaks, Trump Ice-Bottled Water, and Trump's short-lived lifestyle magazine.
I never knew about those last two.
How long will the network actually broadcast? Will the lights actually go out during a broadcast? How much damage will Trump TV inflict on Fox News before it folds? These questions make me, in the words of Rocky Horror Picture Show's Frankenfurter, quiver with anticipation.
Well, YouTube is free.
Yeah.
It is.
YouTube is free.
It's
that's where he's going to upload his show to, right?
I don't know.
It's the only network that'll allow him to do because they don't discriminate against
or he'll follow the Glenn Beck model
and
and
just make his own website.
Just the Blaze is a fully online thing.
Yeah,
but, I mean it's not succeeding.
That's the only place where I can see him actually getting anywhere is online, and that's not going to go anywhere.
Aside from that blonde ditzy bitch who just keeps showing up all over Facebook, but
you're talking about Tony, whatever.
Tony, yeah.
Tony.
God, talk about. I mean, she's fucking. What's her name? The other blonde ditzy bitch. Now I can't remember her name either.
It's okay. They're
conservative. The hard right wing we were talking about earlier.
Michelle Malkin?
No, the other one, the blonde one.
Oh, Coultergeist?
Oh, Coulter. Ann Coulter. She's like Ann Coulter on steroids.
Yeah.
This new one from the Blaze.
Yeah.
Oh, she is
horrible.
Oh, awful.
And lastly, the number one thing that will make you smile after Trump loses this god-awful election, less Donald Trump, period.
It made me smile.
For better or
Hallelujah.
worse, for better or worse, once he loses the election, Trump will probably be a regular fixture in the media for a few weeks, but eventually we will see less and less of his bloated orange face and hear less and less of his horrible, whiny, overgrown 8-year-old's voice and his puny 200-word vocabulary. That reminds me, listener Dave Morris and I were going back and forth on the size of Donald Trump's vocabulary. And Dave said he figured it can't be any more than 40,000, and I said probably less than that. I would say maybe around 30,000. And then he said, it's probably even less than that. So, Donald Trump is an sorry. I saw the word ass and figured that's where they were going.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is an assault on the senses. Satirist H.L. Mencken could have been talking about Trump when he described the writing of President Warren G. Harding. Quote, "It reminds me of a string of wet sponges. It reminds me of tattered washing on the line. It reminds me of stale bean soup, of college yells, of dogs barking idiotically through endless nights. It is so bad that a sort of grandeur creeps into it. It drags itself out of the dark abysm of pish and crawls insanely up to the topmost pinnacle of posh. It is rumble and bumble. It is flap and doodle. It is balder and dash."
I bet Trump would think 80% of the words in that paragraph aren't even words.
He is an affront to the eyes with his bizarre skin colors, hideous hair, and boxy suits. His me first, you're a poopy head style of debate and oration is an assault on the mind. One can only imagine the horror endured by the dozens of women who Trump has groped, grabbed, and inappropriately touched. His little hands, one guesses, are probably constantly clammy and feel like hot, damp starfish through your clothes. Word has it that he wears so much overpriced cologne that he's even offensive to the nose. All of this, yes, all of it will eventually go away. Trump will no doubt have a big baby meltdown tantrum on November 9th and then slowly and steadily go gently into that good night as he retreats to ideologically friendly outfits like Trump TV and wherever Sean Hannity will be setting up a card table and an iPhone camera. Selling pencils out of a cup. as Hitch would say.
I'm not sure he will go quietly into the night, but he'll go into the night.
Above all, chickens, we at Raw Story would like to remind you that this election will end. While a part of your mind may be shrilly screaming and crouching in the corner of your skull, convinced that we have all died and this is hell, one day soon we will be able to go a full 24 hours at a time without hearing, talking about, or even thinking about Donald Trump. Blessed be. Good luck and take care of yourselves.
And I would absolutely agree with that. I think, once he's gone, he's gonna be around in the media, but only relative to each case that we've talked about already.
Or in about 5 years, he'll be in the media for flying a sign on the side of the freeway with his 2 sons asking for hair gel.
Well, or that.
So this
show, the NBC has already dropped him. And they're not going to have him
no
back.
More. Yeah.
No other
beauty
shows
pageants dropped him. He lost all that.
So he's going to fade away into obscurity.
His hotels are failing. His name is going down.
Yeah.
And even they had a listing of all of his ownings, of his property ownings.
Yeah.
And it was something like $3.8 billion worth is what they're valued at.
Mm.
But this year alone, he's lost over $800 million combined with all of his property assets.
No.
So losing that much money, it doesn't take long to lose $3.4 billion or whatever it was dollars.
Mm-hmm.
When he's lost nearly $1 billion this year alone.
Well, he lost nearly $1 billion during the one tax filing that we've actually seen.
But now that
made him a genius, though. So maybe if he loses almost $4 billion, hey, he'll be super genius.
But with his name losing traction, people aren't going to be as willing to invest back into him as they were before.
Yeah.
God, I hope not.
And that's where the rebranding comes in. And I mean, financially, I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll survive financially, but
I'm the asshole who wants to see him fail financially.
Well, and how many times has his corporation filed bankruptcy?
Yeah.
He's been fine.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll hear off and on over the next 6 to 12 months about the rape thing, about the Trump University.
Yeah.
We still pending things about his nonprofit and about how he bought himself shit.
Yeah. We still have that case that's coming up in New York for that.
6 foot photo, 6 foot portrait
painting,
of himself. Yeah. He donated, one of his biggest donations was hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix up a fountain outside a Trump building from his foundation. Donating Trump Foundation money to
pay
the
off
fucking
people.
O'Keefe for that hit video.
Ah.
The Veritas Foundation.
Yeah.
Trump paid O'Keefe out of nonprofit funds.
Yeah.
The state AGs, they paid off and all that. So all those cases will one by one come up and we'll hear it in the news.
And I also found it funny that Trump's been saying he's going to put more money into his election these last 10 days. Yet I just saw an ad on Facebook where his son was asking for people to donate because they need $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
But Melania will disappear. The boys will disappear.
Well, Melania disappearing is going to take a lot of money from Trump's pocket when she divorces him.
Ivanka will probably still be around
Unless you
because
got a prenup.
she thinks she's still relevant. But, yeah.
Donald Trump said that he loves the poorly educated because he appeals to the poorly educated. His words, not mine. Although they're mine also. They are mine as well. But
if you have questions, comments, concerns, compliments, corrections, or concepts for content, contact the show via email at godlessrebelution@gmail.com, by text or voicemail at 330-81-REBEL, or Twitter the twatter at TGI Podcast. Thanks, bitches.
Well, really quick, lastly, something that we haven't covered yet, but happened recently. Jack Chick, the fundamentalist Christian who started the Chick Tracts, died at the age of 92. And I say good riddance. This is yet another one of the people who spent the majority of his life poisoning the minds of young people through what should be innocent cartoon representations of things they would ordinarily find fun or entertaining or interesting, and warning them of the threats of eternal damnation in hell for the simple act, for several different acts of being an everyday human being. I know there are a lot of atheists out there who say that speaking ill of the dead after they're gone is bad. I would have said the same shit while he was around.
Yeah.
They say things like, the only thing that you can do now is harm his relatives. Well, I would have been saying the same things that would have harmed his relatives while he was alive. I don't fucking care. He's dead, and I'm glad. He's no longer around to poison the minds of people. I would assume that the shit he started will continue on, and I think that's a travesty and something that I would like to see go away as Jack Chick has gone away.
I definitely agree. Bad people die, and I don't think there's any.
And I don't think that's something that we should feel bad about celebrating.
I don't think we should be. Fucking Hitler died. Yay! Fucking Stalin, Mao Zedong. Scalia. I mean,
yeah.
They're evil fucking people who.
A ton of poisonous personalities who exercised control over the lives of millions of other people. I celebrate when they are no longer around to do so.
Yeah.
So I know that there are some people who would disagree with me on that, and that's fine. You can do it your way. I'll do it mine. And we can still be friends, and that'll be fine. Thank you all for tuning in. This show will be released no later than Monday, November 8th. Maybe earlier if I have some time that I can get it out earlier.
You mean Monday, November 7th?
Yes, sorry. Monday, November 7th. So if it is not until then that you hear this, go out. If you haven't done so yet, go out and vote.
Oh, please
vote.
Go out tomorrow on Tuesday and vote. If I release it earlier, make sure that you have either turned in your mail-in ballot or you've done your early voting or that you drag your ass to the fucking polls and vote on Tuesday. This is a very important election. Not just at the top of the ticket.
Not just at the top. It's more important at the bottom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Hillary probably isn't going to win Utah. And it doesn't really matter whether it swings McMullen or Trump in Utah, because it's not going to swing anything either way. But the bottom of the ticket definitely counts in Utah, especially when we get around 2020 and the census and we start talking about redistricting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and throughout the U.S., it matters. Your vote matters. Politicians would not spend billions of dollars every election cycle if your vote did not fucking matter.
Yeah.
Don't listen to George Carlin or the cynics or the people who tell you that you shouldn't vote or that your vote doesn't matter. Your vote fucking matters. That's how people get elected. Your vote is what puts them into office. Your non-vote is what puts people who don't represent your views into office. Get off your ass and get out to the fucking polls. Please.
Yay, Dan.
Thank you very much for joining us again tonight, Grant. I appreciate it so much.
Anytime.
Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
I love you guys.
Love you too.
You're awesome. Thank you so much for coming out. Happy I hope everybody had a great Halloween.
Have fun.
Fantastic week. And hopefully by 2 shows from now, we won't be worrying about a global apocalypse.
Yeah. We can get back to atheism.
We won't be speaking Russian.
Yeah.
or that.
Yeah, or worrying about seeing mushroom clouds off in the distance.
Yeah.
So. Until next week, be safe, everybody. Be kind, and we'll chat at you later.
Bye.
You can totally hear that licking. It's like,
no, speaking of creepy, you don't have your porn stash anymore.
You just now noticed that?
I did. What prompted you to shave it off?
Those things are fucking itchy.
You had a porn stash?
Yeah. He did. It was disgusting.
Oh, okay.
And did you mute the computer?
I sure as shit did. Let's try that again.
You were supposed to say bye.
Something.